Welcome back. Welcome back to the one and only Honest Truth Live, Truth Seekers Live podcast. It is an honor and a joy to have you here with me again. We have a lot to discuss once again tonight. A lot to discuss, as always. To everybody who's newly subscribed to the channel, I want to welcome you to the channel. Forgive me, I always have to make sure I'm doing an audio check to ensure that I'm coming in loud and clear for you all. To everybody who recently donated to the channel, thank you for your donations. All right, we are looking good. Let me set my phone up here. Go ahead and take this down. Good evening. I couldn't see who just commented, so forgive me. Let me check really quickly. Good evening, Thoughtful Knights. It's good to see you in here again. Today's going to be another dynamic stream. We are digging deeper into the rabbit hole. We're going to wait a couple minutes for the chat room to fill up or to get a little bit more full. It doesn't ever really fill up, but to get a little more full. And then we're going to go ahead and dive into tonight. I tell you what, if you ever want to find out who your real friends are, tell them that you need help moving. I recently helped my neighbor move today, and my goodness almighty, I don't think I've worked this hard in years. I am so tired right now. If you ever want to figure out exactly who your real friends are, tell them that you have to move and see if they come or show up at your apartment at the time. If they do, then you have a real friend. I'll tell you that much. I am hurting right now. But we're still going to get into it. Tonight's going to be a wild show, an absolutely wild show. Hello, Diana. Good to see you back in here. Hello, Black Women Sisterhood. Good to see you back in here. Hello, Stampitis. Good to see you back in here, man. Good to see Stampitis in the building. Hello, Alexander Brandon. Brandon, I messed up your name, brother. I'm sorry. Hello, Alexander. It's good to see you in here again. Once again, stick around. We're doing the live drawing in roughly 30 minutes. The winner of previous giveaway did not claim his prize or her prize, and so we will be redoing the live drawing. Let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to get somewhat hot and heavy before the drawing. We'll pause for a second and then get even heavier or deeper into the rabbit hole. Hello, Loren. Always good to see the lovely Loren in the building. Once again, tonight's show has been brought to you by our contributors. I want to thank you and send a personal huge thank you to all of our contributors. You are what fund and make this show possible. Also, to everybody who's newly subscribed, once again, I want to thank you personally. You are making this show possible. You have made my hopes a reality. You have supplied all of my needs, as they say the good Lord does. And I thank you so much. I don't mean, forgive me, God, I don't mean to use that in a nefarious nature. Thank you to all of our contributors and subscribers, likers, sharers, everybody who has done something to help out the channel. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe as you enter the room tonight. Once again, we are talking about and digging deeper into the rabbit hole that is the Black Manosphere. And not only the Black Manosphere, I'm starting to hear, it is the Manosphere in general. I see you reverted to your old name, Maya, but good to see you in here. The Glow, TM, good to see you in here. Hello, Asia. We will be doing the drawing at 9:30 once again. If you have not, I have to make this be known. Forgive me, y'all. The people who are entered in the drawing are the contributors. And I'm not just trying to say that to get you to contribute or donate to the channel, but it was kind of a good way and a good idea to give back that I was shared with. And I think that was a great idea. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. What's up, GT? You are necessary opposite to the Black Manosphere. Keep up the good work, my man. I appreciate that, brother. Maya said, no, I forgot to change it. There you are, Maya. There you are. I knew who you were. Peace, Loren. I loved your insight on the last live. Yeah, I always love having Loren in here. So why did I title this the way I titled it? Hello, Marina. Be sure you wait up for the giveaway. See if you won, Marina. You are entered in the giveaway, as well as everybody else who contributed. Why did I title this what I titled it? That there's no excuses for Black men. The reason that I titled this is because the more I talk, the more men that come onto this panel, the more I realize that excuses seem to be the prevalent nature and cause of a lot of the opposition that I face. Excuses are what I hear most, whether it be an arguing of semantics, whether it be an arguing of them being different, whether it be that they just don't agree with me, whatever the cause, it's just an excuse at the end of the day. Acceptance and realizing the need to change is not something that I seem to find in a lot of men. And I've got statistical evidence on why black men seem to be the people that use excuses the most. I've got statistical evidence. Now, for all you statisticians, is that the word? Acting as if I'm educated. I don't know the word. I think it's statisticians. For all of you um, um, differential equations majors, macro and microeconomics majors that I guess the Black Manosphere has turned into, I have included links in the description box so you can check these sources for yourself. I know that you are all statistical majors and rocket scientists, so I have included links once again in the description box to check the information that I'm getting ready to present to you. This is not going to be an entirely educational, informational stream, but let's go ahead and get into it. At the end of the day, I realize and I want to tell you as a black man, a part of the manosphere, that you have no excuses. And the first article we're going to talk about is a study that was done, and it was something that was peculiarly fascinating to me, and that's that there were less black males in medical school now than there were 40 years ago. Black males comprised only 3.1% of medical school enrollment in 1978 and 79, according to the Association of American Medical Colleges. Now, that's not necessarily the most big alarming point of this. Obviously, we know in 1979, things were a little bit different, right? The socio-political climate was a little different, right? Great. But let's fast forward to the year 2019, 2020, and that number has gone down. So with all the advancements, with all the progress that we've made socially, with all the new freedoms, grants, scholarships that we provide minorities and black men, the number of black male enrollment in medical school has gone down to below 2.9%. How could it be that over the past 40 years, with all the progress on issues of racial inequality and injustice, that the number is actually worse now than it was before? And I started thinking about this. And all of a sudden, I came to a realization. I said, you know what? This makes sense that the number is lower than it was before. Now, I know a lot of the men are going to make an argument, well, school is a feminine trait, and school is this, and school is that, school this, school that, right? But what I want to get ready to show you really quickly is a video that an Asian TikToker made. I know I said TikTok, right? You're like, really, TikTok? This video is important because it's going to provide an inside look as to how other races view black people and the leaders of our race, which is black men. Once again, if you're just now joining us, we will have the giveaway if you have contributed or donated to the channel at 9:30. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quickly with you all. Let me share my screen. Let's watch this video, and then we will continue to dig into the content. You're not going to want to miss this. The rabbit hole gets deeper. Let me refresh this because she just kind of started talking. And let's listen up.
So I have a question for the Black community, especially to people who knows African American history. This is coming from someone who was not schooled in the United States. So forgive my ignorance if this question sounds stupid, but I was wondering if there were any instance of affluent African American during Jim Crow. And if they were, how did they manage to become wealthy despite Jim Crow? So I have a question for the Black.
So what she's asking is a very important question. If there were any affluent African Americans during the era when they were being hung from trees. And I thought this was so peculiarly fascinating because if you were here a couple of weeks ago, we actually had the discussion about some of the affluent and richest black people of the in the history of mankind who just happened to be born slaves, right? We talked about a woman who was born a slave who amassed a fortune of $30 million in that time period, which would be equivalent to $800 million today. And other races think the same way. Now, what she's really trying to say as an Asian woman is why can't black men, because they are the leaders of the community and I place the responsibility solely on them, get their act together? Why is it that they're still, after all the freedoms that they've been given, lacking and in very last place in regards to socioeconomics in America? Why is that? Let's continue. NPR wrote an article on the diminishing amount of black males in medical school. Now, this quote is from an African medical student, black male. All right. The quote starts as this: For years, Okurodudu has been trying to figure out why so few black men get into medicine. His conclusion was the lack of role models. He quotes and says, if you're a black male, let's say you're growing up in the inner city neighborhood, which a lot of the Black Manosphere does, he says there are so many things directly in front of you that you have the option to go into. Now, just to go further into this conversation, he says, just to show you how rare of an occurrence it is for a black male, and make no mistake about it, this is an African black male, not an African American black male. So let's keep that into consideration here. But just to show you how truly rare it is to find a black male doctor or in banking or financial advisory, I want you to listen to this next statement that he gave. He said he was walking down the halls one day and he saw another black man. This black man said, "It's good to see you, brother." Okurududu said, I had never met with this man, but I knew exactly what he was talking about. With a large smile on his face and a look of pride, he extended his arm to give me a handshake. In quote, the man said to him, there aren't many of us doing what you do. I'm glad we got some representation in here. Now, this is from a black African who lives in America who is now a doctor, okay? And they've had a conversation. He's had a conversation with another black man acknowledging that there's not a lot of black males in the profession. Now, what I want to show you really quickly after this is a chart that this same news article wrote. And this chart is extremely important. Stick with me here. I know we take a long time to get to the severe crucial items, but this is going to be absolutely phenomenal once you understand why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. If you could see on the computer screen right now, let me zoom in a little bit. This is a chart. Oh, God. I zoomed in too much. Sorry. This is a chart that shows the races and the amount of medical school enrollment between the races. Now, up top, you have white people. The red line are Asians. The yellow line is Hispanics as time goes on. And then the blue line are black people, right? So I want you to notice something. White people, yes, they've gone down, and Manosphere black men are going to argue that, well, see, the white people's enrollment has gone down. The white people aren't enrolling as much either. But the trend that we've noticed amongst every other race, Asians, has been slowly but surely going up over time, right? Hispanics have even experienced an upwards progress, right? I know there's a slight decline at the end, but if you look at the declines that are in each of these charts, there's always a decline before there's another uphill or incline, right? Blacks are the only group where it seems like they've done and been exactly where they started the entire time. Now, why is this important? Thank you, Mocha Mommy, for the first super chat that's been received on this channel. Once again, we are monetized thanks to you all. I so appreciate it. And Mocha Mommy with the first super chat on this channel. It's an honor to have you here, Mocha Mommy. So why are blacks, and why has the medical school enrollment between blacks stayed exactly where it's at? Well, if we listen to a lot of Manosphere streams, you'll notice something in particular. The Manosphere hates women who are educated, right? Now, I want you to think about something that I told you a lot earlier. Let me put this chart down or minimize it to a certain extent. And I want you to keep in mind this. Remember when we talked about dollar circulation inside of each community and how the white community, aka the most enrolled medical students at the top here, had the longest amount of dollar circulation, which was 30 days? Remember when we said that the next group were Asians, which had the highest amount of dollar circulation, which was 14 days, who happened to be the next highest enrollment of medical students on this chart? Remember when we said that Latinos were the third highest as far as in the amount of time of dollar circulation, which just so happened to progress past black people in the early 2000s. They're the third ranked as far as medical enlistments in Hispanics. And then dead last with 6 hours of dollar circulation in the black community. Is it a coincidence that the black male population of medical school students, or that the black community, is dead last in enrollment? The answer to this question is no. Now, for all these black males that claim to be statisticians, differential equation majors, for all these black males who feel like they got a degree from Harvard School of Law, from Yale, from these random community colleges or Ivy League schools or wherever they think that they got their accredited degree from, for all these men that think they're so smart, it baffles me how they fail to understand the basic principles of macro and microeconomics in this case. For we can see and directly correlate that the most educated people generally have the best communities and the best dollar circulation, aka progress, aka businesses, aka growth, aka better neighborhoods within their community. Education is directly related and correlated to dollar progression. Education is directly related to growth in America. We know this. So why is it that the black manosphere has such a problem? Why is it that black men are always calling black women masculine, are always berating them, admonishing them, are always trying to hold them in such a little regard of respect when black women decide to educate themselves? Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. When black women educate themselves and try and bring black men off of the lowest curve of education, when black women educate themselves and are trying to raise the curve of new black doctors so our bars and our charts can finally go up on this scale, it actually helps you, black man. But black men don't understand that. They will continue to hate, to be spiteful. They will continue to persecute and chastise the very best in our community. Black women are trying to raise the numbers, aka the dollar circulation, so we aren't dead last. Black women are out educating black men, and black men want to make you feel bad because you are progressing and causing the black community to rise up. Imagine that. We're the only black men, black people are the only race in America that talks bad about their women for going to school. Once again, if you're just now joining, we do have a competition, aka giveaway, in about 13 minutes. My clock says. Let me see, what time is it right now? I know, about 10 minutes. I'm sorry. In about 10 minutes, we have the giveaway. I'm going to be drawing a name out of my little Halloween bucket here. If you are a contributor, and you know what, I have to add you to the contribution list. I'm so sorry. Black Women Sisterhood. Let me write your acronyms down right here. Please don't mind my dustiness. I'm going to write BWS for you. Black Women Sisterhood. If you have contributed to the channel, you are entered. Mokamami, the other names who have donated. If you have donated, I make sure to enter you into the competition. Even if you donated as anonymous, I still have your name here, and I'll read the first couple letters of your name, and then we'll go on. Let's read a couple comments here. Scott Haywood, if you would like to join the panel, because I see that you're literally spamming the comments. Scott Haywood, I don't want to be disrespectful to you, but if you want to join the panel later on, then join the panel. If you do not join the panel today, Scott Haywood, I will ban you from the channel because I am growing a bit weary from reading your comments. So if you'd like to argue your point of view, Scott Haywood, you are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. Strawberry says, I don't care how highly educated my family is, middle and better. They make good money. I'm not settling or building black men, American Dusties. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care how pro-black I am. Right. But black men claim, and if you listen to my Night Talk episode, which thank you so much for the positive feedback on the Night Talk episode. I was going to air another one tonight, but we'll have another Night Talk episode around 20 minutes tomorrow night. Another great story of experiences that I've had. But these black men claim that they're pro-black when we've already figured out that the more educated people make more money for the communities, give back to the communities, and then they go on to admonish, to chastise black women who are more educated than them. So backwards. So backwards. I'll never understand. Black Woman Sisterhood with a $15 super chat. Thank you so much, Black Woman Sisterhood says a woman is only as great as her head, her leader. As of right now, black men have failed us as women and as a community. I'm not talking about just Pookie and Ray Ray neither, right? That's absolutely true. In the last live stream, we spoke about how beautiful women are, and that they take something that a man gives them and they make it better. You give a woman your seed, she gives you a child. You give her a house, she gives you a home. Women take everything that men do and they make it better. But black men don't give anything to their women. And like we discussed, and Stan Pitus is in the building, and so I'm not going to just, I have a lot of respect for him coming on the stream. But even the good, well-to-do black men in the community, we're starting to have problems with, right? Now, we are reaching out and we're making a change. But when even the good men in our community are starting to go against the good women in our community, then we have an issue. We have a severe problem. That's when growth seems to be majorly stunted. Kid Trunks 44. You want to speak some facts to me, man? Then you are more than welcome to. Kid Trunks. I hope that you are a grown man. Okay. If you're a kid, if you're under the age of 18, which I mean, I don't know. I'm not judging you if you like anime, bro. All right. If you like anime, that's your thing. But I want to speak to men, and so as long as you're a man, all right. Well, why you have an anime avatar as your YouTube avatar is a bit beyond me. Once again, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that we're already starting on somewhat of a unlevel playing field, if you understand what I mean, right? I'm going to prove this point a little later in the stream, Strawberry. But black men, the black manosphere is the main purveyor of white supremacy in the black community. In no other race do the men completely chastise and berate and hate and demonize their women for having education. That is exactly what Black Panthers, Malcolm X, that is exactly what the radical black men fought and died for in our community, was to get more educated. The women start to educate the men, and then the black men take up the mantle of white supremacy and travel farther with it than white people have ever gone. The black man has killed more black people than white people have ever and will ever do. Also, I have to watch my language a little bit. A lot of my videos, YouTube said that they can't monetize. You know what? I don't even care about that. Ignore I even said that. I want to thank you so much for the next donation, Trisha. Trisha has been such a major supporter to the channel. I can't thank y'all so much. Once again, if you're just now joining, we do have our giveaway in 5 minutes now. We're gonna pause for a second. And we are digging deeper into the rabbit hole, deeper into why the black manosphere is the new white supremacist in the black community. Oh, he just hates black men. He just hates black men. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Huge shout out to all of our contributors. You make this channel possible. Trisha, you are entered in the giveaway. 5 minutes until the drawing. You see, I want to let you know something about the medical school enrollment, right? And this is going to blow your mind. This is wild. The fact of the matter is, and this is a study published by ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. So for all you black statistics and differential equations majors, since you're all of you in the black manosphere are now NASA astrophysicists, you can go to a .gov website so you know it's real, since you all want to quote the CDC. I got a comment last stream, stop mentioning the CDC. Yeah, they all believe in the CDC. The Center of Disease Control is the new Bible. The fact of the matter is, believe this or not, many minorities get preferential admission treatment into medical schools, as said by the NCBI. And this is quoted. The Centered Commission and the independent consultants, Dr. Robert Lerner and Athiel Nagy, said this. Many of the preferentially admitted students from the minority groups could not pass their licensing examinations despite greater resources being directed towards helping them versus other students. So they pretty much said this. We decided to grade the test easier, give you more money, give you leeway, a grading curve, if you will, give you greater access to technologies because we know you didn't have it. And black men still couldn't get into the medical schools. How do I know it's predominantly black men? Because black women out-educate you, black men. You say this all the time, and you're upset about this. At every medical school the center studied, substantially higher number of black students than white did not take or failed their initial licensing examinations. And in most instances, failed their subsequent licensing tests as well. And once again, we know that black females out-educate the black men, and now we know why they're so angry at black females, because it shines the light on the skeletons in the closet of the black man, and it puts the complete and utter failures that he's made to contribute to society on a pedestal for the world to see. That's why you're so upset that black women out-educate you. That's why you're so upset that black women are better than you. See, they won't just tell you, and they won't provide you all the resources and all the studies that I'm reading to you right now. But white people pretty much told you the same thing that I've been telling you, and that's that they want you to do better because they're tired of seeing your dilapidated hoods. They're tired of seeing your crime-ridden environments. They're tired of walking into a random gas station in a part of town where they're not accustomed to walking into and seeing black people pandering outside and causing them discomfort. Black men, obviously, because we know black women aren't just loitering outside of gas stations at night, right? They're tired of seeing that. So so white people said, we're so tired of these black men. We're so tired of these N-words that we're going to try and help them. And after they helped you, after they gave you preferential admission, you still failed. So post-Jim Crow era, there were more black men in medical school when racism actually existed. When depending on where you are in Texas, where I'm at, and the time of night, you might actually be killed. There are more medical black males in 1970 than there are in 2021. Let that make sense. But you claim that the white man is still on your neck. Let's pause really quickly. The numbers don't lie. You can't argue facts and numbers. You can't argue facts and numbers. And even the numbers that you present to me, black man, I can argue tooth and nail. You know why? Because they're still a direct reflection of your piss poor management and leadership of your community. And that's the honest truth. Let's pause really quickly, and we're going to go ahead and get to the giveaway. Once again, if you contributed, I want to send a huge shout out and thank you to you. Got a lot of new comments here. Someone says, in my opinion, black men would be the best in the medical field if they took on the practice. Yeah, I don't know. Black men would be the best whatever if they decided to just do something. That's somewhat of a semantical argument because it's depending on the fact that black men actually took up the mantle and decided to do something with their lives. Somebody said at least if they're enrolling for trade schools to make up for the deficit, but they're not, right? They're definitely not doing that. Black Woman Sisterhood said, damned if you do, damned if you don't. When black women choose to be their dream submissive housewife, she's called lazy, right? When they go to school, she's ridiculed for having a PhD. Damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's just incredible. Really quickly, I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm not going to even be able to do that. All right. The hate for our ladies is disgusting. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get on to the drawing. We're the only ones caring about the community and enough to try and build some sort of foundation and infrastructure. Absolutely. Absolutely, you are. So, really quickly, the winner of the Unique Boutique Candle giveaway, and I'm going to put that address in the chat below. If you are not familiar, Unique Boutique Candles, I will show to all of you actually. If you're not familiar, Loren, who is in the chat room, is the owner and CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Unique Boutique Candles. Now, I've showed this before, and we'll make this quick. I know we want to get back to the topic and the discussion at hand. But if you are a candle person like I am, then this is the website for you. This is where you need to go ahead and pick up your next candle. Stampitis DP says Team Black Manosphere. Stampitis, I will gladly refund you your money after this stream. I understand that you love your Manosphere, but I will gladly refund you. Really quickly, getting back to this ad, you will not want to miss out on the opportunity to buy a candle. Get 25% off your first purchase with the code HOMESUITE at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Quality, Black excellence, Black entrepreneurship that the Black Manosphere won't support. Let's make sure we gather together to support our Black women, to support the best in our community. Now, if you do win, you will be notified of what you will receive once you message at Unique Boutique Candles on Instagram. Send a direct message to her. If you need the email to Unique Boutique Candles, then go ahead and email me on my About page, and I will forward your email to Loren and give you proper notice of the instructions. So, without further ado, let's shake this up. The winner of the Unique Boutique Candle giveaway is, let me grab a name that's on the bottom, so I'll just kind of, Mocha Mommy. Mocha Mommy, if you are in the chat, you have won the Unique Boutique Candle giveaway. Congratulations to Mocha Mommy. I believe I saw her name in the chat. Yes, definitely. Yes, these are on uniqueboutiquecandles.com. Now, if you like the candles you're seeing, follow that link. Those are the drink candles specifically. That's the one I kind of want really badly, not going to lie to you. And I want one of the men's fragrance candles, something I haven't seen before. But congratulations to Mocha Mommy. Mocha Mommy, if you are in the chat, make sure you follow at Unique Boutique Candles. Send her a direct message, and she will get those candles over to you. Congratulations to Mocha Mommy. She's a huge supporter of the channel. Exciting times here. Jose Juarez says, are they drinkable? They're so delicious smelling, Jose, that you'll want to drink them. Whether or not you choose or should, I'll leave up to your personal judgment. I would advise you not to, however. The candles are awesome. They look absolutely delicious. Jay Price says, congrats, Mocha Mommy. Let's read a couple comments, and we're going to go ahead and continue. You don't see those on the website, JoJo1 says. You have to actually click under the link. Now, I'll show you where I clicked. I'll show you where I clicked really quickly. It's under the drink candles. It's on the far left-hand side, okay? We'll get back to the comment, guys. Just give me 1 second, and we'll be opening the panel, the chat room, in about 20 to 30 minutes. In about 20 to 30 minutes. If you have a disagreement, let's talk as men. So once you get to this website, uniqueboutiquecandles.com, make sure that you are under the left-hand side right here where my mouse is circulating. You'll see a drink or a candle that's reminiscent of a drink. You're going to click Shop Drinks. Once you click that link, it will take you to the drink candles. Scroll down, and you are there. All right? Follow that link, and you can find other candles as well. Moving on with today's discussion. Once again, Mocha Mommy, you have 24 hours. I'm sure she'll see this because she was here earlier today. If not, I know her YouTube channel, so I'll message her. Yeah, the cranberry applewood, that's a definite hit right now, right there. Loren says, no, they aren't drinkable. Yes, she did just give us a super chat. She's here. She kind of comes back and forth, but I have her YouTube channel, so I'll make sure to give her a message. Or y'all can comment on the YouTube channel if you want to. All right. Moving on. But wait, there's more. If you didn't think this was bad. So we were talking about how even when the white people decided to help you black men get into medical school, you still couldn't pass your test. It's even worse. The findings are described in two reports. In the first review, a review of the University of Maryland School of Medicine, whose findings are reflected of those in the second larger report, as well as which are based on 5 other medical schools, the authors found that black applicants, primarily black men, because we know black women out-educate black men, which they're upset at right now, were given a massive degree of preference over their white, Hispanic, and Asian counterparts, aka affirmative action. In 1996, and 1999. So yes, I know it goes back a long time ago, but keep in mind that the education and the enrollment of black male medical students has decreased since 1996. So even though this is 1999, this is still accurate in their findings. 75% of black applicants were admitted with test scores lower than the scores achieved by 75% of all white and Hispanic and Asian students. What does this mean? This means that they let black people, specifically black men, in with lower test scores because they were starting to find out that black men couldn't get into medical school for whatever reason. So they said, we're going to make it easier for them. So they made it easier for black men to get into medical school. And now there are less black men in medical school. This makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. Once again, this is why they hate, berate, and continually mock black women who are doctors, black women who are lawyers, black women who are economists, black women who are government officials, and various other high levels of professions, because it shows just how much they fail and continue to fail in lieu of every opportunity given to them. And the minute a black woman tries to be proud of her accomplishments, the minute a black woman tries to show off her success, the minute black women say that they're tired of their men coming in last place in every single damn aspect of America, black men take it upon themselves to tell her that because she isn't with a loser like him, she is a failure. No accountability, but all excuses, when in reality, black men have no excuses for where they should be in America, in life. No excuses. Your systems have been made easier for you, and black men still have gotten worse results. How is that even possible? It reminds me of what we said last stream when I said this, that the black community was in a better position. The black men and black women and their dynamic relationships were in a better position. Black people and black men were killing black people less. The black community thrived more when there truly was oppression. How is that possible? How is it that when they gave you freedom, black men, you decided to start dealing crack? How is it when they gave you freedom, black men, out of everything you could possibly do, as if the past 100, 200, 400 years of slave didn't exist, you decided to make hip hop? How is it that when you been given every opportunity and they said, you know what, even if you don't pass the test like everybody else, we're still going to let you in, you still chose to not only not go, but to decline in your races? You chose to not even head to the track to practice. How is that possible? I said this last time, and I'll say this again. Maybe the white man should have kept their feet on your neck, black man. And I truly mean that. I really do mean that. If the black community did so much better when the white people had their foot on their necks, maybe they should put their foot on your necks again. I truly believe that. You know why? Because the numbers show it. Obviously, I know the atrocities of slavery. So, yes, I'm not being 100% completely literal, but I, for the life of me, cannot understand how you have more but have less. For the life of me. You see, excuses excuse accountability. They coddle your failure. They make you feel good about your current status and situation in life. And they don't give you the opportunity to gain the mindset needed to progress. My father always used to tell me, my son, I don't want to hear excuses. If my father told me to do something, it was done. And if it wasn't done, I understood that there were innate consequences within my failure to accomplish or achieve the goal that was set for me. This is how life goes. You're not the best man, then you're not the best man. You're going to have to deal with the consequences, with the lack of community structure, with the lack of dollar circulation, with the higher incarceration rates. And I didn't even talk about this, but you know, we'll talk about this a little later. And really quickly, just to give you an idea what I'm talking about, 33% of black men estimated, and I made sure to put estimated because I know all you statisticians and astrophysicists who work for NASA and the Black Manosphere are going to say, see, you said that you can't use quotes, but you're using statistics and quotes. An estimated 33% of Black males have felony degrees. So that means that 66% of Black males are out there who don't have felony degrees. That means that there's 66% of Black males who can go get a normal job, because when you have a felony, you can't get a normal job. 66% of Black males can provide for families and for women in their community, right? Roughly 66%. So if the 66% all don't want to get married, or I'm sorry, if the 66% all want to get married, it would still leave Black women out alone by and large, right? Because Black women outpopulate Black men. And so even in that case, it would only make sense for Black women to start divesting or interracially dating, even from a completely holistic mathematical analysis. The fact that there aren't enough providers in the Black community, and Black men in and out of themselves have to lead and lend themselves over to the notion and thought of Black women choosing to date interracially. So even from a math sense, you have to support Black women choosing to divest, because you Negroids, almost half of you have been locked up with felonies. I know you understand how hard it is to get a job when you have a felony. You can't get a job anywhere without a felony. Or with a felony, I'm sorry. You can't get a job anywhere with a felony. So they have to date somebody else. No, she said 66% of Black males who have degrees. No, it's not that. We're talking about specifically incarceration rate and felony rates. It's an estimated number that 33% of Black males have a felony, an estimated amount. So that means that 66% of Black men don't have a felony. And, I see what you're saying here, Thoughtful. So yeah, assuming that every single 66% of those Black males have a degree, I hear what you're saying. Then, right? I mean, those are just such. It's such an impossible situation. It's such an impossible situation. They have no choice but to date out. But once again, going back to the actual upstanding part of the Black males who are part of that 66%, who do have degrees, men like Stampitis, they still don't marry their women. They still don't marry their women. Black women, you are damned if you do, you are damned if you don't. Chanel and Wine says, hey, Jay, come with the facts. Absolutely. M says astrophysicist. Right. Negroids get google.com and then claim that they're the all-seeing eye now. What? Oh, man. Love the support to Black-owned businesses. Yeah, Mocha Mommy, you won the giveaway. You won the giveaway of the Unique Boutique Candles. So make sure that you message at Unique Boutique Candles on Instagram. I'm going to type it in for you. I had a drawing and your name was pulled out of the bucket. Typed it in the chat box for you. Once again, I'll be opening up the panel in a couple of minutes here. You said, what's the website again? Here's the website. That's the website for you, Sammy Ryder. And Sammy, your name was in the drawing as well. I'll let you know. I did catch your name. Even if every single one of the Black men in America, the 66% who don't have felonies, had a degree, there's still not enough to go around. Black women still have to interracially date. Educated Black men think they have a license to create broken homes. Right. But I'm different. I'm different, though. Bell Farm says all they do is blame the government. Excuse after excuse after excuse. And just like the video I showed earlier, if you didn't watch this video, maybe I'll show it one more time for you. Show it one more time for you. Well, I'll just describe it to you. It was an Asian woman saying, and she was being very nice about it. And you should have seen these comments. Black dudes were on there saying, how can you say something like that? We're more educated now. When in reality, you're not more educated now. She asked how the Black community was able to build wealth when there was times like the Jim Crow era. She asked if there were any rich Black people during the Jim Crow era, which there was. So she was pretty much saying, Black men, why are you still making excuses for the way that situations are now? You have no excuses. M says, remember, they are the prize, Loren. Right. A black man gets a Juris Doctorate degree, which only lends him to the middle amount of $50,000, low end $40,000, high end $70,000 salary range. And all of a sudden, he makes an entire Twitter post biography claiming why he's the prize. And his main reasons why claiming he's the prize as a black man is because he has a college degree and because he doesn't have a felony. So that makes him a prize. No, that makes you normal. That makes you an adult. The Glow TM says, I had a cousin who had a trouble criminal record. He managed to get a job pushing charts at Walmart or carts. And it's all because my mom helped him get a job. He still ended up getting fired because he wasn't going to work. Magnificent One says, I have TikTok. It's a toxic place for black women to be. Absolutely. I completely agree. Completely agree. Naturalicious says, LOL, that is common. LT says the bar is low. The bar is beneath the ground right now. The bar is buried 6 feet under, and black men are still making excuses. As we said early in the stream, white people literally started taking black men with lower test scores into medical school, and the amount of black doctors has gone down since the 70s. The amount of black male doctors specifically, not black women, the amount of black women doctors has gone up. Oh, these women they're masculine. They're this, they're that. Well, if it's masculine, my fellow black brother, to be a black doctor PhD, then why have your numbers gone down? If it's masculine, shouldn't they be going up? That doesn't make much sense now, does it? PhDs are so masculine. And the amount of PhD black men going down. Well, that makes a lot of sense to me, to be honest with you. Makes a lot of sense to me. Let's continue. The panel will be opened up in a couple of minutes here. Just trying to get a few more points in because once we get the panel going, it goes. You see, the best football players make it to the NFL. The best actors typically make it to the big screen. The smartest people have the highest degrees. Not all the time, but generally in these cases, right? We even have a saying and a quote that goes, may the best man win. And that's often before a boxing match or a competitive bout of power and skill. We say this because it is understood that to be the best, it takes hard work and absolutely no excuses. Hell, even when you go to your local gym, you can probably find a sign that says no excuses on the wall. Because we know that if you truly want to lose weight and make yourself better, it takes nothing but hard work. The sign is there to motivate you. Black women tell black men that they want them to do better and get an education and start making money. And black woman wants a man to actually make the amount of money that she is. But black men tell her that you're average. Nonetheless, nobody walks into a gym and sees a no excuses sign on the wall and says, why do you have that no excuses sign on the wall in my gym? I take insult at that sign. You shouldn't have a no excuse sign on the wall. I've never heard anybody having a problem with the no pain, no gain sign that's posted at the local gym. You know why? Because it's understood that it takes hard work consistently to progress and to lose weight. But black men are the only group of people who feel chastised when black women and other races of women, like earlier the TikTok Asian woman, asking why black people don't seem to have the ability to get it together under the leadership directly of black men. Black men are the only group of men who take direct personal insults. The black manosphere is the only group of people who feel insulted when their women try to motivate you with no pain, no gain. When their women try to tell you they want a high value man. When the women try and tell you that we want you to do better. Black men choose to ignore that and instead make fun of, chastise, admonish black women who are doing better for themselves. There's no person in history that has achieved greatness without putting in hard work. Hard work. Hard work. It doesn't just happen. But right now we have an epidemic of black men who want the title of king or MVP without putting in any work whatsoever to build his kingdom or his legacy. And even those who are educated, who are doing well for themselves, who have a kingdom that they could provide for the black community, they choose to die with their resources or withhold their legacy from legitimacy. What do I mean by that? Men of wealth in the black community not getting married. Tevin Wambles talks about this himself. Oh, it's going to be hard for him. He's got plenty of options. Why should he settle down with you? He has plenty of options. Why should he get married to you? He has plenty of options. Tevin Wambles himself is supposed to be a high value person who's once again not married. So how are you high value, Tevin, and you're not even adding or contributing directly to the black community as a high value, esteemed, established person? Moreover, you're telling black men that it's okay to make fun of the actual high value black women who have doctorates, PhDs. When we go back to the dollar circulation and why the black community is the lowest in dollar circulation, and it directly correlating with the amount of education that is in or lacking in the black men specifically, when we directly relate and understand that education is related to the amount of community growth, it would make no sense for us to continue to say that we don't want our black women to be educated, as it would directly benefit us as a community. That would make no sense. But here you have an entire group of almost 500,000 now black men chastising black women for getting more education and adding back to that dollar circulation, to improving the 6-hour dollar circulation in the black community, to building businesses like your average at best girl actually built, which are worth 6 figures, which can employ black women, the businesses that you as a black man don't even have. Insane. Absolute insanity. Now, listen, I understand that not everybody can be great. I get that. I really do. I get that. But by and large, we can assume and agree, and we can see that the black community under the leadership of black men is doing worse in our time than in our great grandparents' time. And in this article, the lack and the downward spiral of active black males enrolling and getting into and being admitted into medical school is a direct reflection of what I just said. It's right on point. We can see the numbers going down. So here I am, a black male, trying to tell other black males to get on their game, and how am I perceived by the manosphere? Well, we already know how I'm perceived. Well, Truth, are you a doctor? Do you have a doctorate's Truth? You don't have a doctorate's degree, so you can't talk. They always want to argue semantics. You can't say anything. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm part of that problem as well. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Because I don't have a doctor's degree and I'm talking about doctors, maybe I am. But you know what else I'm not? Or you know what else I am? I also am felony and misdemeanor free. Nearly half of your manospheric brothers can't say that. I'm not trying to get on to people for having a background. I get it. Things happen in life. All right. But if you're going to attack me personally for not having a PhD, but talking about men with a PhD, then you need to also hold into account all of your fellow black brethren who can't get a job. So you want to play tit for tat? There you go. That's the truth. My camera is lagging a little bit and it's starting to really bother me. And I think I know why. It's because I messed up my settings, but it's all right. We're just gonna get through it right now. I'm not really tripping about it, Let's read some comments out. We're gonna open up the panel here in a little bit. Why the lack of drive and or effort, THT? Well, that's a long question there. Why the lack of drive? That's a long answer, rather. I I don't know. I just think that black men just, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna address that question in the next live stream. I'll tell you why there's a lack of drive, and I want to really expand on that. That's a long answer for now, but I'll get back to you, LT. Give me a little bit. M says, THT, I actually agree with Tevin Wamuels, LOL. A high earning black man would think exactly as he's saying. I got too many options now. It's hard. It's hard to want to get married now. M, to an extent. To an extent. The problem is that when it comes down to actually adding to your community and being a role model and something of a pillar, something of an actual idealistic or picture perfect image of how you want the rest of the black community to slowly drift towards and progress to, then you have to set that example. So whether or not it's hard, hell, it's hard getting a doctorate degree. It's hard doing a lot of things in life. But at some point or another, you do have to achieve or accomplish that, right? If you're telling other people that you need to be married to do this, if you're telling other people that you need to be whatever to do this, then you still at some point or another are going to have to fulfill the same roles that you're telling other people, other black men, other black women that you desire for them. All right. It's the pot calling the kettle black once again. So I understand it might be tough to settle down, but at the same time, never settling down isn't the option either. All right. Like I'm telling black men, I can't say that I'm trying to make myself better and then not make myself better. Right. I'm getting ready to go into an industry now where I'm going to be doing better for myself. And guess what? After the property and casualty license test that I just took, I'm going to go get my next license. All right, I'm gonna get my life insurances and health license. And then after that, I'm gonna get a general managing license. And I'm gonna keep going and going until hopefully one day I can open up my own insurance branch or agency and hire other black people and teach other black men how to get their licenses. So yes, I understand that you can't save the world at one time, but you still have to be a part of that active progression that you're preaching. And if you're telling other black men that they need to get married, then there's no reason that you should not be married yourself. Let me open up the panel really quickly. If you would like to hop onto the show, I know I said I'd let you come up a lot earlier. Here's the link. Once again, Scott, if you are still here, Scott, this is your chance to hop up before you are actively banned from the channel. Marina says he does not do what he preaches. Verdell says, that's crazy how not being a felon / not having a record is a flex low-key for black men now. I pray we do better in the future generations. Right. This dude says he's a prize because he doesn't have a felony. Huh? That's how far entrenched into the ground the bar is for black men. Golden Lioness says there's a saying, when you teach a man, you have taught that man. When you teach the woman, you teach a nation. Absolutely. Also in line with that saying, Golden Lioness, is the hand that rocks the cradle rules the nation. Black men in the Manosphere fail to understand that you're only as good or as strong as your woman, your main team player in the dynamic of the game of life. This is why the Spartans, we talked about this on the last live stream, this is why the Spartans were the most feared and revered warriors of all time. It's because the Spartan women were the toughest, smartest, most educated, and fiercest women of all time. Black men will go watch a movie of 300, name record labels after the figurative 300 Spartans, aka Chief Keef and 300 block of Chicago. There's a record label owned by Leroy Corwin and another black guy named 300 Records, and failed to even understand how the 300 Spartans became great in the first place. This is why I say most Manosphere people hate black men, because we all know that education correlates with wealth and generational wealth, that you have black men mocking educated black women and educated women in general. It's so true. Alexander says at the Glow TM, I'm so sick of the notion that men are the prize. These Manosphere men have got me effed up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Black men are the prize that no one wants, by and large. And the actual men who are worthy, which is not very many, that they do have the ability to, as M said, to some extent, pick and choose. But even then, when we start analyzing and breaking down the mindset of those men, still the mentality is anything but prize worthy in their heads. Rebecca Bart says conquered mindset. Naturalistic says if black women were not holding the fort, the black community would be completely lifeless. I absolutely believe that. Right. Kevin Samuels says, Tevin Wamuels says he's helping the black community. Mind numbing. Verdell says Kevin Samuel, not married 2 times, divorced, behind on child support, but yes, he's high value. Yeah, I heard about the whole entire situation, and I briefly saw it. I don't know what's going on with that, but right. A man divorced 2 times is trying to teach you how to stay married. Lord have mercy. We are in the sunken place, if you recall or remember that in the movie Get Out. We are in the sunken place. I mean that figuratively, not literally, obviously. D, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you back, D. I said I wasn't going to have you back on the stream until you started a Facebook program group or a workout program for black women specifically who you felt so chastised with, who you felt the need to go off on. Having said that, I am glad to have you back on here. So my first question is, I have to hold you accountable. Did you start a workout program already?
No, I didn't start a workout program.
All right. Well, you're on thin ground starting off, D. I want to let you know you're on thin ground. Either way, I'm glad to have you up here. Once again, the beautiful Loren. Sorry, D, 1 second. The beautiful Loren is here. Loren, I'll let you go right after D. D, what did you have to add, my friend?
I came here because, hey, I'm not disagreeing with anything you said. Except I want to just speak on the behalf of black men, who are actually doing well, who don't have criminal records, who are college educated, who are trying to become engineers, data scientists, mathematicians, doctors, whatever you're saying, high value black men who are trying to.
Cool, D. Are you a doctorate? Do you have your own business? Are you a mathematician right now?
Talked about differential equations and sets. That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Oh, cool. So are you right now majored in differential equations?
Yes. Oh, I'm taking differential equations as a class.
Okay. Well, are you a mathematician's major in college?
I'm a statistician and a mathematician. Yes.
Okay. Have you graduated?
In like 2 months.
When you graduate, D, come back, email me the certificate, and I will gladly pay you your props. As of now, you have not been accredited, and so you are now not you at this moment. You are not a part of the men who you claim for me to want to go and fight on behalf of. I can't do that.
2 months.
Right, but you're not graduated now. And here's the bigger issue, D. Now, listen, I'm not just trying to hold your feet to the fire completely here, all right? I understand you graduate in a few months, and I'll be happy for you when you do. However, I can't give you your praises now because you have not done that, all right? That's like me saying, hey, I'll be in the NBA in a few months. A few months is a long time. You never know what will happen. But to Bell Fans comment here, if we're honestly going to be honest here, the amount of black men who do have certifications of that level, D, is very small, bro. It's very small. I mean, we're talking about 33 to 35% estimated of black men who do have a felony. So do you understand that we're literally talking about almost half of black men in America starting off the race with a felony to begin with? So almost half of the black men, wipe them off the face of the earth. Mathematically, what I'm telling you is the numbers still don't add up. So I can't praise the minute amount of black men who have doctorates. I can't praise the minute amount of black men who are astrophysicists. I can't praise the minute amount of black men who have gone on to do something spectacular because it's such a small amount that in the grand scheme of things, it does not add up to me praising them in their worthwhile efforts. Now, yes, obviously, I want black men to do better, right? Obviously, I wouldn't have the same arguments if black men were graduating at a 50% rate from college universities or had a 25% rate of doctorate's degrees or master's degree going into college or whatnot. I don't know, whatever it might be. But we're talking about right now, less than 2.9% of the medical doctors that have been admitted to college universities, which is a number that's gone down from 3.7% in 1998, We're claiming that those less than 2.9% of black men need to be praised. I mean, let's be honest, D. How are 2.9% of black men going to save black women in the community as a whole? Do you expect all of them to marry black women? Do you expect all of them to marry all of the black women at one time? Is what I meant to say. Do you expect all of them to be in polyamorous relationships? Because here's the numbers. Black women already outnumber black men by 2 million. All right. 35% of them have felonies. That's 35% of black women who go for those black men that are not going to be able to have a sustainable household. Okay. So now we're talking about an estimated, I don't know numbers that much. Let's just throw around numbers. 5 to 15 million black women that aren't ever going to have the potential to date a worthwhile black man. 66% of those black men would all have to be educated and earning at a rate that could support financial growth, entrepreneurship, families, and upward mobility in capitalistic America. But we know all 66% of those black men who don't have felonies, we know all of them don't have college degrees. Now, I don't know any stats on this, but I'm just going to guesstimate that out of those 66% of black men who don't have a felony, probably somewhere between 20% of them, 25% of them have a college degree. And based off of the 2.9% of black males in medical school, admits to medical school in 2021, I'd say that probably between 5 to 15% of them have masters or higher. And so I'm not going to praise 5 to 50% of black males for doing exactly what they should be doing in the first place, which is trying to get educated. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to praise a man for doing what a man's supposed to do, D. That's foolish. I'm going to tell a man that he's supposed to be doing what you're trying to do right now. And I'm proud of you for doing what you're doing right now. Right?
I want to thank you for that. And again, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that, hey, why is it that we can't hold both men and women accountable for in this community for
D, I'm gonna mute your mic. I told you you're already on thin ice. This is why I don't hold women accountable, because you are supposed to be the leader in the community. So once again, D, until you come back with your workout plan for black women that you claim that you are so afflicted by, until you come out with a workout plan for you to help black women rid themselves of the overweightness that you claim that you cannot avoid, you are not welcome on the panel. So I will see you when you start your workout plan. Email me on my about section in my YouTube about page, D, when you start your workout plan, when you start your facilities, and you are welcome on the stream. I do not hold black women accountable to the level of black men, is because we are black men and you are wanting to be the leader of the community. As I say before, and I will continually say, if you want to be the leader, then you will have to sink with the ship when the ship is gone down. If you want to be the captain of the ship, you got to sink with that bad boy. And right now, the black community under the leadership of black men is sinking. That is why, D. Loren, welcome to the stream. Alexander, you can speak. Lady A, you can speak after. We'll have the women go first. Alexander, you can speak last. Loren, welcome.
Hey.
Hey, Loren, how's everything going?
So far, so good. I'm very happy for Mocha Mommy. Can't wait to send her candles, for one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And she's here, and I can't wait for her to get it. I can't wait for me to get mine
Mocha
as well.
But firstly, what I wanted to say about, like, just the last comment, because I've heard that before, like, what about the ones that are, this is the problem. Y'all want to talk about the exceptions and not the rule. If a successful, high earning, well-educated, productive black men was the rule, we wouldn't be having these kind of conversations.
Right.
If it wasn't rare, if it wasn't like in our everyday life, when you go out into the real world, you're not seeing all of these high earning, high value black men, which is why I just think this high value nonsense is nonsense, because there's not enough high value black men to go around. Okay. There's not. And that's not something that I'm proud to say. That's something that I wish would change. There is no reason why black men should not be doing more and doing better for themselves. You're right. There's no excuse. There's no excuses. I want to see them do more. I would love to run into black men that earn $100,000 all day, every day. The reality is that is just not the case. So no, I don't really feel like we need to praise the tokens. Everywhere you go, there might be a token black guy here or a token black guy there, but we're not talking about the tokens. We're not talking about the exceptions. we're addressing the rule. And that's what we need to focus on, the rule.
Absolutely. So well said, Loren. I'm gonna get back to you in 1 second. That's perfectly said. I can't even add anything to that. That's perfectly said. You all want me to represent the rule. Why won't you do this? Why? But we have. There was a black astronaut in 1984, and he went to the moon, and he's awesome, awesome to that one black man. Now, what have you done? Well, I'm getting ready to graduate with my statistics. Well, I am in school right now. Cool. What have you done specifically to support me needing to support the brothers that are part of the severe minority? Well, I'm graduating in a couple of months. Cool. What have you done to support your community? Well, nothing yet. Awesome. Exactly what I wanted to hear. Lady A, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. Unmute your mic and you are free to do as you please. Lady A, I can't hear you right now. You are unmuted, but I can't hear you. So if you have headphones on, make sure that either they're plugged in or if you need to, unplug them and verify. Also, if you're still not able to figure it out, you can exit the stream and there's an audio meter where you can test to see what your signal's looking like when you come into the stream. And so try and rejoin really quickly. I'm going to remove you, but I'm going to put the link back up, rejoin, and then test just to see if that little green meter is going up and down when you try and join, okay? So I'll remove you, Lady A, but come right back. That is the link to join. If you would like to join, you're more than welcome. I like Stampitis put Stampitis returns. Stampitis, you can go right after Alexander. Alexander, welcome back to the stream.
It's good to be back. And congratulations on passing your test, bro.
Oh, thank you, Alexander. It means a lot, man. It means a ton. I really appreciate you always being here and supporting the channel, brother. What you got going on? What do you have to add to this conversation?
I'm agreeing with you on a whole lot. Basically, here's the thing. This whole race loyalty mentality isn't even helping Black women at this time because, like you said, you have men on the Manosphere talking bad about Black women, but yet you still have them want to march for Black men who they don't even know. They just want to march. They just want to march for him and stuff like that.
Right. No, that's so true. That's so true. I mean, you have these men who are willing to just figuratively and probably literally lay their lives down for this random man who is doing absolutely but continually splitting, who is very intellectually and intelligently dividing us further and purveying more and for putting more hatred into the Black community. I mean, it's such an incredible, if you just take a step back at it and look at it, it's such an incredible instance in the growth and the explosion of a man like Tevin Samuels on YouTube. It's just mind numbing. And we're getting to the point now to where other races are starting to join in and saying, hey, he's right. I agree with them. Black women are this, Black women are that. Races who haven't had no experience with Black women, right? But fortunately, there are a lot of races of men outside of Black men who are still traditionalistic and conservative in their values and who do respect women inherently for what they are, who they are, what they represent, and what they can add to a man's life. So, Alexander, I completely appreciate you being here all the time. I'm going to take you down. Make sure to come back a little later. I got to clear some space for some more guests, but you're always welcome on the stream, okay?
All right.
All right, brother. Talk soon.
Okay.
This is why I support Divest. Go to where you are worthwhile. That makes sense. Go to where you are desired. If that man loves you, I don't care what color his skin is. I don't care what he looks like. If that man loves you, please save yourself, since Black men claim that they need to be saved. Save yourself, Black women. That should be the new movement that we're starting. SYSBW, save yourself, Black women. As if Black women are just out here murdering and locked up at a 35% rate. Probably higher than that, but 35% felony rate. It's not Black women who have 35% of felony convictions. Save yourself, Black men. As Psycho Candy said, black men need to save themselves from black men, as we all do. Really quickly, let's try you again, Lady A, and then we'll go to Stampitis. Lady A, is it working for you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for having me on the show. As I was trying to say earlier, it's like 4:15 in the morning here in the UK, so I'm not going to be stopping too long.
Okay.
But I just had a couple of questions. You said to the brother that you're not going to let him back on the show until he starts building, was it like a regimen for black women to lose weight?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of his first instances, just to put a background behind it, 10 seconds, is he got on the show and was complaining that black women are overweight. And I said, well, what is the shape of your body? He claims to be 6'4", Greek god chiseled out of marble. I said, so why are you not a gym rat yourself, helping black women with their weight? Why instead are you berating them and making fun of their weight and bodies, instead of potentially opening up a business for yourself where all these overweight black women can come to you, can come bring you hard-earned money, and in turn you could probably end up having some sort of physical connection with them, spiritual connection, even if you can have the process to go that deep. Maybe even find a relationship with the black woman that you chose to help out and to add back to the community. So that's why I told him that. My apologies. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, why does he need to do that? I mean, how many decades do we need of education about how to eat right? I mean, to be fair, weight loss is not really about exercise anyway. You can go to a cheap supermarket like Lidl and pick up fruit and veg at next to nothing. You can grow some. So let's not pretend like black women don't know how to lose weight. And when you say that, it almost sounds to me like you're saying the black woman doesn't have enough autonomy to know what she should do, not to get a man, but to at least have a healthy quality of life. I think a lot of black women get offended when people ask them to lose weight, because it's like you're losing weight for a man. No, you're losing weight to stave off diabetes and back pain and knee pain and heart attack. That's the first reason why you should be caring enough to lose weight for yourself. And so a lot of black women try to conflate losing weight for a man with just having a decent quality of life. And we have more than enough education out here to know what to do. So are you saying that black women need black men to guide them by the hand to lose weight? Or they're just ignorant, they don't know how to do it? That doesn't make sense.
No.
Secondly, before you
one
continue,
second, hold on 1 second. I have to answer that question first, then I'll let you continue. I'm absolutely not saying that black women are ignorant. Moreover, black women are by and large
why
far,
does the black
far
man
more.
need to build a gym for them?
Lady A, I'm going to answer your question. I will mute you. I don't want to, but I will mute you. And actually, I will mute you because it's better audio. So on one of my live streams, I heard that there was feedback because I didn't mute everybody. So I have to mute you for now. But as soon as I'm done, I'm going to unmute you. The reason why it is black male's responsibility is because you are the leader as a black male. Women want a strong black male that can show them and that could be the exemplary example of the greatness that they are claiming that they are. And we know that by and large, in every socio-political aspect of America, black males are dead last. That's just a fact, okay? And moreover, if you're going to present a problem within black women, if you're going to present a problem, period, and this is something that you might not understand, but I'm going to teach you really quickly. If you present a problem as a male, as I was raised by my father, then you must also present a viable solution. So you simply pointing out the problem is going to do absolutely nothing to change the problem in that of itself. But what a man's job is to point a problem out, identify it, provide a solution, execute the solution, and all of a sudden, guess what, Lady A? You don't have that problem anymore. So if D is so upset about overweight women, as if every black man walking the continent, walking America, walking the globe is chiseled six-pack abs, muscles and biceps, as if every black man is just physically carved out of the Greek god's marble slate, which we know that's not the case. Black dudes act like they're walking around like they're bodybuilders or something. Black dudes act like they're NFL-sized players or something like that. And even if every single black man was physically a Michelangelo statue, it still is your responsibility to solve whatever problem you feel like is a problem in your life. That's what men do. That's what responsible, responsive, well-balanced, masculine, proactive men do. But most of you wouldn't know what a responsible, active, proactive man is, because most black men in the community haven't had a responsible, active, proactive black male to teach them that pointing out the problem does nothing but add more problems. But rather, if you choose to solve the problem, once again, Lady A, all of a sudden you don't have a problem anymore. And moreover, you can make a little money on the side, personal training. So are you telling me that it would not be in D's best interest to make a little money on the side, start a business to actually give and add back to the community? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Lady A?
Sorry, I was using the computer and the connection dropped off, so I'm just on the mobile now. No, that's not what I'm saying. Of course, if he wants to make money, that's great. I mean, I agree. You know, he could open a gym.
But what?
He could make a gym. He could create a gym. But
Right. But we know black men don't have entrepreneurship desires. We know that.
Okay, that's fine. Let's just go with that. Okay.
It's not. Let's just go with that. These are the actual numbers. Listen, it's not just go with it. The black dollar circulates an average of 6 hours in the black community. For Latinos, it's 7 days. For Asians in America, it's 14 days. And for whites, it is 30 days. Okay, now I'm going to show you this chart because you think I'm just talking numbers. Let me show you this chart really quickly to educate your well-educated self. I'm going to give you some education, all right? I'm not just going with anything. These are facts. You want to die on the hill of black men? I encourage it. But moreover, we have another UK woman similar to Jessica X who feels that since she's black herself, she knows the social aspects of black men in America. This is a chart of how there are fewer black men in medical school in 2014 and today than in 1978, when the white man truly did have their foot on their necks. So why am I bringing this up to you?
The question is why?
No, okay, I'll answer your question, and you're muted again. This is the reason why, and this is bewildering, but get this. Black men were given more freedom. Black women were given more opportunity. Black men were admitted to medical school and doctorate programs with lesser scores than their Asian, whites, and Hispanic peers, and their numbers still went down. You know why? It's because black men in large don't identify, provide the solution, and then execute that provided solution by and large. Instead, they victimize themselves. They claim that schools have been holding them back, that the white man is holding them back, that the white man just wants to see them fail, when in reality, the white man has said, we're going to let you get into school with lower test scores. We'll provide scholarships, grants. We'll give you affirmative action. And black men in turn started drifting away. Black men in turn started unsubscribing. They just started dropping out of school. Their education went down. All right. Now, how does this relate to what you're saying? How does this relate to what you're saying? Black men are complaining that all of these black women want a high value man. When the white people tried to make black men high value, they dropped out of school.
Okay, so I don't believe that the biggest recipients or beneficiaries.
You don't have to believe anything. You don't have to believe anything. You can believe exactly what you want to believe. You can believe exactly what you want to believe, but the numbers do not lie. At the very top of this graph, you have white people. White people have the highest dollar circulation. The Asians are next on this chart. They're the red people. They have the second highest dollar circulations. The yellow, let me zoom in, have the third highest dollar circulations. And because we know a lot of Latinos work together to own businesses. No, it's not. You're exactly right. It is the culture, but it's the culture created by who?
Who passes?
Okay, I removed you, Lady A, because you're making arguments that are playing exactly into my point, and you'll refuse to acknowledge them because you're just ignorant, and I can't solve ignorance for you. You're exactly right. It is because of the culture. And guess who created the destructive culture of the black community? Who created rap? Who started D-boys? Who started pimping? Who started selling drugs? Just take a wild guess. Of course, it was black women, right, Lady A? And how would you even know? You're in the middle of London. You would have no idea what culture is about. This is the ignorance that you have to deal with. And at this point, this is how sad it's gotten, is that even black women in other parts of the country look down on black women on issues and circumstances they know nothing about. This is the war that you're actively fighting against, literally and figuratively. Susan at YouTube. I know I was calling her Sharon. Thank you so much. Organic for correcting me. Stampitis returns. Welcome back to the conversation. It's good to have you and all of your glory back on the stream. Thank you for waiting patiently. The floor is yours.
Thank you for having me on the show. I do want to start off by saying I do have two special guests with me, my son and my girl. So if you hear noises, I'll try and, well, not for my girl, but my son. If you hear like little noises, I'll try and, I don't want to ruin your stream. Thank you for having me back on the show. Shout out to Miss Loren and her candle business. I didn't realize that you had a candle business. Just want to get all that out the way. Real quickly, I'll try and be direct because I don't want to take up too much time. How is it that in the beginning of this live stream, you show an Asian lady who clearly isn't here, but you just got rid of somebody that was in London trying to spew her facts?
Yeah, well, the difference is that I actually gave her a chance to speak, and when I decided to directly prove what she was saying was based out of ignorance, she continued to interrupt me, and that's why she's not going to be on the stream anymore. So she was on the stream. It's not like I heard the very first word that she announced and kicked her off, right? She had a chance to speak. She chose to keep interjecting and interrupting after I muted her, and so I'm not going to add chaos and commotion to my stream because the quality of my stream goes down. So I answered her questions. I gave her plenty of chances, but I can't keep letting people interject and talk over me because when I do that, it makes the stream sound bad. So I can't do it. I've learned, I just can't do that anymore. So she had a chance to speak, but moreover, to answer your question even more directly, the Asian woman asked a legitimately fair question. So I think that it deserved coverage. I think that was a genuine question. She asked how Black people were able to get rich, or if there were any Black people that were able to get rich while they're being hung from trees. I think that's a great question to ask. And it pertains to the subject at hand because we saw that in 1978, when the white men still partially had their foot on Black men's necks, they did better in medical school admissions compared to right now, when they have complete freedom, when they have Pell Grants, when they have all kinds of different scholarships and affirmative action, their numbers have gone down. So that's how it relates to it. Black people were still able to achieve excellence even amongst utter destruction of their souls and community. That's how it relates. I think it was a good question. And what she's really trying to ask, without being rude and flamed up by men like the Black Manosphere on TikTok, is why can't you Black men get it together? That's what she's really trying to ask. She didn't want to obviously ask that because then she'd be racist, right? Oh, you're racist. It's not. My grandfather is a pilot and he flew in World War II and he dropped bombs and he now owns a donut shop. You're being racist. So that's what she really wanted to ask. And guess what? She's not lying. Stampitis, last time you were here, we already acknowledged that you're part of the severe minority, man. Severe minority. So it's a valid question. Oh,
well, I'm not arguing.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not arguing that her question wasn't valid, but what I'm saying is, okay, she asked a question. She said in her video, if I'm not mistaken, hey, I may be ignorant, but how come you guys were able to get ahead back in the day and you're not able to now? She's in I'm assuming a different country. Yet this lady was pretty much doing the same thing in a different way, but kind of the same thing. But you like immediately shut her down. And it's like, you pointed to the fact that, hey, she's not here. Well, that lady you posted isn't here either. So what's the real difference?
I literally just answered your entire question. Do you want me to restate?
No, you said the validity of the question. You were saying that her question was valid. I'm not arguing.
Yes, and UK woman had a valid question as well, which I answered directly. But even after I answered it, she continued to interject me with essentially the same question. So it wasn't necessarily that it was because she's not here that I kicked her off the panel. It's because she was interrupting that I had to kick her off the panel. That's the only reason why. The reason I kicked D off the panel just now is because he was getting ready to start interrupting me again and answering literally the same exact question, which he's still asking in the chat, which is, what does this have to do with me? What does this have to do with me? Why me? And I can't keep covering the same thing over and over because after a while, it becomes the endless hamster wheel and we never get anywhere with the discussion. So I have to I gave her a chance, man. If she wants to come back, she can come back. But just like you, I kept you on the panel and you disagreed with me the entire time. So you can't just say that I only kick people off that I disagree with. I'll have you on the panel for the next 3 hours if we're on for 3 hours because the questions that you asked weren't all necessarily the same questions in the same way. And at the end of it, you were like, well, you know what? That's a good point. And even now you've acknowledged. But pure ignorance, I can't teach and I can't say anything to. I can't talk to a brick wall and expect it to change to a wall of flowers. I've learned that that's just not going to happen. And moreover, for her, she's addressing still things that she doesn't know. Now, to answer your question again directly, the Asian woman said, hey, I might be ignorant here. Did you ever hear UK lady say that she's ignorant here? Did you ever hear UK lady submit to her not necessarily having all the knowledge coming into the situation?
No.
Of course. So I'm dealing with an arrogant, uninformed, uncultured, smart person that's trying to tell me what's going on in my culture. Hold on, I'm trying to type at the same time. To everybody who's donated, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I forgot to post the links and everything like that. Here's the list of donators. People who donate, you are directly responsible for the show being where it is right now. AP Bunny says, yes, she was combative. Absolutely, she was combative. Absolutely, she was combative. And I could tell, there was no way she was going to get it. We're going to keep going around and around and around and around. Guess what, sweetheart? If you know everything, then by all means, keep it up. Keep it up. Do your own thing. But I can't just. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Stampitis. Go ahead, man.
My next question was earlier in the live stream, you said that it's not a badge of honor not to have a felony and be normal, which I agree. You shouldn't be bragging over that. But then in the next sentence, if you play back the playback, you literally said, well, guess what I am? I'm a person without a felony. Could you explain why you said that?
Sure. The reason I said that is because I know that the Black Manosphere likes to argue semantics. And so in relation, in the connotation of my statement saying that, I said that because the Black Manosphere would say, well, THT, just like I told D, right? You're not welcome back on my stream, D, until you start a Facebook group to help women with nutritional tips, because since all the Black women are overweight. The Manosphere will say, well, you can't make fun of the Black population if you don't have a PhD. If you're claiming that Black men don't have a PhD by and large, but you don't have a PhD, they'll always argue the tit for tat. And so I said, well, you know what? You're right. And guess what? Even after I said that, I said, I'll admit that maybe I'm part of the problem, right? Rewind the clip, rewind the live. You'll hear me saying that maybe I'm part of the problem in that aspect. But you know where I'm not part of the problem, though? I do not have a felony like most of you Black men. And so if we want to argue the tit for tat, if you want to get down low and play the dirty game, which most of them will, then we can play the dirty game. And I'll say it before, and I've said it again, and I'll continue to say it. Just because you have a felony doesn't mean you're a bad person, right? I get that. I get that things happen. And I said that right after, right? I said that right after I said the Black men have felonies. I get that things happen. But that still does not prove or give you the leeway. It still doesn't give you that slack to excuse yourself from the situation. And the reason I say that is this. There's a quote that an officer told me one time when I got pulled over. I was speeding in my Mini Cooper like I usually was. And he said, hey, did you know how fast you're going? I was going like 120 something, right, on the highway. I was like, no. I was like, I didn't know, I couldn't speed. I didn't know the speed limit sign. And he said, ignorance of the law is no excuse for negligence of the law, right? So that means that just because you didn't know that something would be to your demise, just because you didn't know that there wasn't a speeding sign, it still doesn't not hold you accountable for you speeding. I'm not going to get out of a ticket just because I didn't think that there was a speeding sign. That's not how the world works. So I understand that, yeah, I might not have legitimately seen the speeding sign. Maybe I thought I was on the Autobahn in Germany and I could speed. But guess what? You can't speed. Guess what? Felonies are going to have repercussions. I understand that maybe you did something or didn't do something and you have a felony. But we know by and large the didn't do nothing meme. All the Black men when they get locked up on cops, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing, man. I didn't do nothing, right? We know that that's not the case. I'm not saying that there haven't been Black men who have been falsely prosecuted and probably killed in the prison system. I get that. But once again, those cases in today, 2021, are very few and far in between. Okay. So ignorance of the law is no excuse for negligence. And there are consequences to your actions. Doesn't make you a bad person, but there are consequences to your actions. So the reason I said that, going back to your question directly, is because if we want to argue tit for tat, then we could do that all day. I'm not here to argue semantics, but a lot of them will argue semantics. So I like to chop the snake's head off right at the root. All right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. On your chart that you presented, you say blacks are dead last, but if you look at it closely, Native Americans are dead last. What's your comment on that?
Yeah, I think that's actually a great question. Rebecca, thank you so much for the Cash App. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for the Cash App. Let me put my 1 second. I'm getting right to you. Stampitis. I cannot multitask. This is really tough, actually. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that question is I think it's a great question, but the most simple and obvious answer is that there's so few Native American people in America, man. I mean, most of them, like most, meaning like 95% of them are wiped out, bro. You know, so there's just not that many, right?
I mean, but there are fewer. I think the Asian population, what is it, like 5% or something like that? They're lower than us, but they're higher than us. So would that really make a difference?
Well, I tell you what, if you're able to find the Native American percentage of population in the populace versus the Asian percentage, I would like to see that. I'm not going to search for that right now, but here's what I would argue. Common sense somewhat tells me, and I think it's a great question. Common sense somewhat tells me that, you know, the Native American population comparatively to that 5% is probably somewhere like 0.05 something percent, man, or like 0.0125% or something along that lines. I mean, it's a very, 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 very small amount of people. I mean, how many Native American people do you know right now?
Can I answer that?
Zero.
I'm
Zero.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any Native American people. I know a few Asian people, but you'd be hard pressed to find. Maybe they're all on the reservation, so maybe that's not a fair question. So I can't ask you that.
Honest, can I add to that quickly? Because I just watched a little documentary about this recently, and I'm actually interested to know more about Native Americans, because one of the problems is that the way that they are forced to categorize and label themselves on the any job application where you have African American, Latin American, Hispanic, Asian, because they have to prove their Native Americanness, they have to get blood tests. If they don't meet a certain percentage, they're not even allowed to like legally call themselves Native American. So I actually thought that they were all wiped out. But there's a lot more Native Americans that are actually here, but they just don't identify because of the problems that comes with being Native American. So
Wow.
I hope to see like more of them speak up about some of those things that they face, the apparently like the forced blood tests and stuff like that, and how much they have to actually prove their bloodline in order to get anything. So they're actually a very complicated group of people.
Nice. Well said, Loren. I think that maybe we should look at some numbers on that, but still, Stampius, to once again directly answer your question, I think that just it's going to be a numbers game at the end of the day. You know, I would argue that, listen, if they had been given as much as like affirmative action or push, if their numbers were as high as Black people, I would have no argument that Native Americans probably wouldn't support or surpass Black men in the medical education rates, or the medical rates, or whatever it might be. Now, here's the other thing. You have to also remind yourself and remember that Native Americans were given ways to make money inside of America as well. They have casinos, they have land, charters, they have like plots of America that are specifically just solely theirs. They don't have to pay rent in a lot of the Native American, what do they call those places? Like communities? I don't know, reservations?
They're called reservations.
Yeah. Like they have their whole different economic system. So most true Native Americans, I mean, it's kind of comparing apples to oranges, in my opinion, but I think that's a good question. However, just to kind of further go out and say what I previously stated, I think that if they were at the same numbers, then they'd probably surpass Black people, to be honest with you, or Black men specifically. So that's what I have to say.
May I address something that I think you posted a comment from Persuasive something? She posted saying something that Asians didn't go through the same thing that Native Americans did. But yet, if I were to say the same thing about Black people, the host and you would probably be like, I'm giving excuses for Black people. So how is it good for the goose, but not good for the gander? Just a quick question. And that's not even directed to you, the host. It's directed to that comment. You can't have it both ways.
One more time, say it one more time, Senpai. I missed it.
somebody, you posted a comment from Persuasive. I didn't catch her name. She posted saying that Asians didn't go through the same thing that Native Americans did on this land. So by that logic, I could say the same thing when it comes to blacks. Like, but if I were to say that, then the host and her would probably be like, I'm making excuses for blacks. So how can you do it for Asians, but not for blacks, if that makes sense?
Well, the biggest thing now is it's still at the end of the day, and I think that's a good question. I think that's a good question. Unfortunately, here's the difference. Like I said earlier, in relation to the Native Americans, a lot of them just physically don't exist anymore, right? And so the numbers are just so different. Okay, there are more black people. More black people made it through slavery. More black people made it through that era, essentially, to where we are now. But to directly answer your question, I hear what you're saying, but this is the problem: is that now we're in 2021. Okay, and so even if we just accept that, you know what, Stampitis is right in this case. Still in 2021, it's not an excuse for black men to not get their stuff together, right? So even if I roll with you and say, you know what, Stampitis, you're absolutely right. It's 2021. It's not 1960 or 78. We didn't go through what our great grandparents went through, right? I mean, at some point, we have to let the hurt and the pain go. We just have to. If we're going to continually remind ourselves that, oh, well, this and this happened and this happened and this happened, then there's not going to be any progression made. Now, I know it might seem contradictory, but once again, going back to the Native Americans, they literally don't have the people here to even compete on that scale. They literally don't. I understand Asians didn't go through everything that black people or Native American people did. I get that. I get that. Maybe at some point that actually had an effect, naturally as it would. But in 2021, that effect should be little to none at this point. We've had generations birthed outside of slavery. We have generations birthed in affirmative action. We've had generations birthed in the knowledge, that understanding that education can save you, that money is king. And so just like that UK lady got on here saying, well, what black women know they should be healthy, and black women this, and you should already know. Do you really think we need to have more? Well, if black men know that jail is bad, why do 35% of black men have felony convictions? So once again, it kind of goes back to that semantical argument. It's no excuse at the end of the day, and still black men are at the very bottom. Even if what you're arguing is 100% correct in this instance, it's not going to change where black men are and the black community is as a whole. So that's the reason why I try not to stay or put too much behind those logics. Because if we do, it's going to give us an excuse to keep failing, and we can't do that anymore. I said this in the last stream. If stuff happens, bro, stuff happens. Life's going to happen. But at some point, we got to get past it, man. You know?
Agreed. I actually agree with that. I can't really disagree with that. We do need to stop using it as an excuse. I mean, I will say this: we should use it to our advantage. Like, if it gets us money and it gets us sympathy and we can get the money and invest it, agree with that. But we shouldn't use it as an excuse to hold us back. Do agree with that?
Yeah, definitely, Stamp. I'm glad you're on board, and I appreciate it. You know, and those are great questions, man. Great questions. You know, ultimately, the biggest way that we're going to help ourselves is to be the leadership, to promote the leadership, to hold black men in the community more accountable. One of the biggest clips, and I'm not sure if you saw my Night Talk episode. I'd advise you to watch that. For anybody who hasn't seen the Night Talk episode, check it out. There's a clip in there that's playing from a black content creator who has over 20,000 subscribers, might I add. And it's a very telling clip. It's a very telling clip, but it pretty much at one point he literally says, I'm happy that I have no responsibilities. I'm happy with my life that I don't have any responsibilities. And while he might have meant it in like I don't have to take care of kids or to be a stepfather or this or that, I took it very literally when he said that. He said this very passionately, very irately. I took it very literally. And I started thinking about that. And I said, you know what? This man has 20,000 subscribers who are all happy to have no responsibility. Guess what? It takes responsibility. It takes pressure. It takes accountability to sustain your community, to promote growth. It's not easy. It takes a lot of responsibility to be a man. And these men are not men. However, they still want to have the title of man, king, or MVP. Well, that's going to come with a lot. It's going to come with a lot, black men. And so that's all I'm promoting here is holding them accountable for their kingsmanship or lack
I
thereof.
I actually did watch. I actually watched your segment actually 3 times, and the thing that kind of stood out to me was the part where you were telling when you walked into the store and you were speaking to the young lady or the new worker. And what was striking to me is that you actually thought that maybe she was hard of hearing. No, women do that, especially black ones. They'll hear you, they'll ignore you, they have no respect for you. But it's like in one sense you like realize that, and you even said that you were frustrated, but then in the next sense you were kind of giving them excuses, and it's like I couldn't make sense of it. Like what do you got to say on that?
Yeah, I definitely was frustrated at that time period. You know, I was a little embarrassed because we were the only black people in line once again. I wasn't giving them excuses. What I was doing was trying to stay balanced. You know, there's a big thing that we as human beings tend to do, and that's that we assume. Psychologists say that 90 to 95% of things we worry about eventually never happen. And so what I like to do before I just jump head over heels into the forest of raging fires is I like to say, you know what, Jonathan, let's stay balanced here. You don't know everything that's going on, and this is the reason I do this. Later on, after you heard the spiel from that content creator of Anger and Rage, there was a black girl at the door, and she ended up being the sweetest black girl. We had a great conversation. She was beautiful. She was kind. She was awesome. She was sweet. She was just everything, the embodiment of feminism or femininity that you could expect in a woman, and she was black. So if I would have kept that same anger and resentment in my heart for that 2 minutes that it took from that interaction for me to exit the store, I wouldn't have talked to that black girl. I wouldn't have talked to that sweet young lady who ended up brightening my night and took me out of the pity, out of the anger, out of the rage that I was experiencing. Moreover, I might have created another enemy in her for the simple fact of ignoring her, for the simple fact of not acknowledging her after she told me, have a good night. I could have said, whatever. I could have said this, I could have said that. But guess what? Because I was man enough to accept that, you know what? You don't like it? Okay. You still, as a man, have to stay balanced. You still have to keep your mind in a logical, rational way of thinking. Because I did that, I made one friend and I still have one potential enemy. Was she right for talking to me the way that she did? No, absolutely not. But would you rather have one friend and one enemy or two potential enemies now? So now I'd be taking that same guilt, anger, frustration that I was harboring with my conversation with a black woman who I didn't know to another innocent black woman who I also didn't know and throwing that on her. That's why it's so important. That's why men like Tevin Wamuels are so dangerous. That's why men like this dude who say that they don't want to protect black kids and literally in that video said F them all. F them all. He literally said F all the children, F all of the black women, F all this. He literally said that. That's why this is so damaging in the long run. Because when you start talking about effing them all, you're talking about your girlfriend, Stampitis. You're talking about your child. If they, God forbid, get into a situation where they need the help or the protection of another man and you're not there, you will be directly affected by the ignorance that these manospheric content creators spew by their hatred, by their demonicness, by their ignorance. You'll be directly affected against it. Just as my mother, my cousins, my sisters, both literal and figurative, will be affected by that content as well. That's why I go so hard. That's why I try and stay balanced. You know, you have to. I have to. For the sake of your children, your girlfriend, your future lineage, and my future lineage. If we lose our balance, our sense of self, our rational thinking as men, the community is quick to follow thereafter, and then we're going into a place where we can't save it. It is our responsibility to stay balanced, to stay level in thought. We have to.
I think that is actually a good trait that you have. My retort to that is, what if that second interaction didn't happen? How would you actually feel?
Sure. Yeah, I would still feel bad. But guess what? I still, at the end of the day, I know my sisters aren't like that. I know your girlfriend's not like that. My point still, I know Loren's not like that. I know Black Women's Sisterhood's not like that. I know Asia's not like that. I know Lola's not like that. And obviously, right, I don't know them in person, but judge based off of their comments and the way that they elaborate on their comments and the way that they exude themselves in the chat, I can I can assume that they're not like that, right? The problem is that here's the problem. Even if the large amount of black women were complete jerks to me, which they're not, even if they were, though, does that give us the reason to exude asshole personality to them? Because guess what? If you start to just completely generalize all of them, then the innocent ones are going to get it too. And then eventually even the innocent ones are going to be made into the assholes that you're claiming to hate so much. It's a lose-lose situation. It's a lose-lose situation. And so I choose to do that because still, for the good ones that are out there, which majority of them are good, but a lot of black men like to use one instance and use that to rule their entire lives, right? Just like you got on here talking about the one instance that was major to you. And I understand that was a major situation. I get that. But at the same time, you can't just let yourself be completely lost in the sauce, right? Because like I said, your girlfriend's not like that. My sisters aren't like that. My mom's not like that. We have a lot of women that aren't like that. And so we can't just go and just, well, they're all to hell with them all. We can't do that, man. It's unfair to the rest of them. Just like, and they always get on my channel saying, you like to just stereotype all black men and this and that. Well, you say that black women like to stereotype you all, even though most of you fit into the stereotype. You say that they like to stereotype you all, then you can't go stereotyping all black women either. We want to argue semantics like they always want to do. The arrow is pointed both ways on the road. It's a double-edged sword, bruh. Right? You got one finger pointing at you. Guess what? You have 4 fingers pointed back. Or is it 3? You got 3. I'm tripping. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. May I allow my my quote unquote baby's mom to say something? Because I've been reading the chat. Hey, what do you think of this? Like, she's right beside me. What do you think? Hey, talk to him.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I see that. So everyone's like asking, like, what do I think about this? Do I know how he thinks? And I do. I mean, I don't take it personally because I know he's not talking about me. When he's talking about what's going on, it's just a generalization.
Right. Yeah, I think that's healthy, you know. And in and out of that point, I mean, Stampitis, once again, she's not generalizing you as the whole because she knows that you're different, you know. So even if you really do feel that way about the general amount of black women being mean or ignorant or rude to you, you have a black woman who isn't mean or ignorant or rude to you, who's willing to look past your generalities and show you that she's not a part of your generalities, right? And so if she decided that she was just going to completely, I don't know, play into the stereotype that you believe all black women are, then maybe you could have a little bit more leeway to say, well, most black women are rude or this or that. But once again, your own very flesh and blood is a byproduct of a contradiction of what your general beliefs are. Now, that has to provide some sort of merit or value with you accepting the fact that even if it's all, that still does not give me the right to act on that generality. Because at the end of the day, your own life is a direct contradiction to your beliefs, right? And so it's tough because at the end of the day, like I said, you wouldn't want another man to not help your girl or child's mother, possible fiance, and hopefully y'all get married at some point or another, to be stuck on the side of the road, to need help and she can't reach you, to just be in a situation where she needed help, whether it be from a black man or a black woman. You wouldn't want her to be in that predicament. And so that's why it's your responsibility to not apply that to all. You got to be the change you want to see in your own life. And if you're not willing to do that, then you can't be upset when other men don't want to do that as well. Personally, my girl need help, and I know that black manospheric men just all walked past her and she was in a bad situation, I'd be pretty upset because I know that I would be the one to actually help, right? That'd be frustrating to me. I care about her.
Yep, that's true. May I, your comment actually leads me to the other question. I want to know, like, I understand why women put a high value on it, but why do you put such a high value on marriage? Because I guess coming from my point of view, I've been married before and I've seen it. And I've also Also, if you're a man that has a lot to lose, it's not a really good idea to get married. Now, I just want to understand, like, why do you put such a high value on marriage?
Yeah, it's kind of just goes back to the traditionalistic conservative roles of what made the core family successful, right? It was a legal binding contract between a man and a woman. And back in the times when it was actually created, it was financially beneficial to get married. You had different tax breaks. It was seen as more favorable in the public eye. So if you were in business or if you were a business owner and things of that nature, it was more socially and conservatively accepted and promoted, because that's essentially what built America in the conservative rings to this system that it is, right? Now, obviously, a lot of things have changed in the context of socioeconomics and in America. However, marriage still is a very needed and valuable tradition. Here's why. And the biggest question I have is this. I mean, in my opinion, the most significant, I guess you could say, agreement is having a child. Marriage, in comparison, is it's trumped by having a child, by having your flesh and blood birthed into the world, by having a spirit, a little adult created with another human being. That trumps marriage. So I always thought it's a bit interesting, people who just decide to have children without getting married, because it's like, dude, you already went as far as you could possibly go with another human being. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's pretty serious to have a kid. So by you saying, well, we just had a kid, I didn't feel like we were ready to get married yet. It's kind of like, well, I mean, Jesus. I mean, come on. What's so scary about it? I mean, listen, you have a kid with her. She decides y'all break up. She can still put you on child support with or without the marriage license, bro. I mean,
Trust me, I know all about the marriage thing. Trust me.
right. So
Child support does not cost as much as losing half your shit. And matter of fact, it's whatever. You don't know what I own. I own quite a bit. I have a lot to lose. Not that I don't trust my girl. I love her to death. I never said I wasn't gonna marry her.
Right.
So
Well,
just want to throw that out there. Most of you probably ain't got much to lose. I got something to lose. Trust me.
Right. I completely agree. Personally, I don't understand how any woman, and I'm not trying to throw shade because I don't know your relationship. Okay. So I'm not trying to speak down on you, Stan Pitus, or your lady. I'm not trying to do that at all. But personally, as a woman, I would feel a bit slighted if you were like, well, hey, I got a lot to lose, so I don't want to get married to you. I mean, if it's that serious, maybe get a prenuptial agreement, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't have, the funds and assets that you do. So maybe I can't speak to that, but I know that there are agreements going into it that you can maybe protect yourself a little bit more if you just feel so on the edge about it, right?
The honest truth, when you build your insurance company and you're making six figures, mid six figures, I guarantee you're going to think different. It doesn't matter if you have the best woman on this planet. I guarantee you.
Well, I mean, if I thought I had the best woman on the planet, man, I would have no problem with marrying her, bro, to be honest with you. I mean, what would I have to worry about if I know I have the best woman? And listen, here's what I have to say to that. Listen, at the same time, bro, stuff happens, man. All right. You get married, it ends up not working out. Okay, bro. I mean, you still have to move on with your life, though, man. I mean, if you built it up at one point, you could build it up again, bro. Like, man, you live one time. Look, I want my family to be under the confines of conservatism and traditionalistic values. I like that. I want my woman to feel proud that she's wearing a diamond on her finger. I want her to feel like every other woman. I don't mind taking that hit and that sacrifice if I am this figurative high value man at some point or another. I don't mind taking that hit. It's a part of the game, bro.
You said you wanted to feel like most other women. Are most black women married? Yes or no?
Well, because of men like you, no. For being honest.
Oh, it's just men like me. It's not any other kind of men. It's just men like me, right?
Well, I talked about this earlier. I said this, and it goes back to the 33 to 35% of black men having a felony. Even if the 66% of black men who can legitimately get a job that's worth paying or able to sustain a family in 2021, even if all 66% of them had financial institutions or insurance companies that they built up, which, by the way, I'm also going to be going into property and casualty insurance working here in a little bit. Even if all of them manage to be high value men, they'd still be outnumbered by black women by a very large amount, in the millions, right? And so mathematically, because of the plight of black men and just gender inequalities between the populace and populations, it's impossible for all black women to find a black man to marry. Even if 100% of the men were willing to get married, there's 2 million more black women on average in America than black men. So mathematically, it's impossible. So that's the fundamental flaw with your statement there. So that's why I support dating out. I support divesting, because not all of them can get married, right? But even so, still, when we have good, upstanding black men like yourself, you know, they still don't marry. So, I mean, what do you really want black women to do, man? They're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. I don't like it. They don't
I
like
mean,
it.
maybe, I guess going out and again, because now she's giving me looks. Never said I wasn't going to marry her. We have to wait for a couple things and then it's going to happen.
Right,
But what
right.
I'm saying is, looking at it from a practical sense, overall, not just me, if you got something to lose, like the honest truth, insurance liability is a multi-million-dollar company.
Mhm.
And you just so happen to meet a chick that you thought was the best one. 10 years later, she divorced you. Because, by the way, if you're married for 10 years, guess what? They're entitled to half your shit in most states. You're in
Oh, yeah.
Texas. That's an equal distribution state. There's 3 different states. There's equal distribution. There's community property.
Mhm.
And then the third one, I forget what. What's that third one? Marshall. You're Marshall. You're in Texas. That's Marshall. It's important to know that, right?
Mhm.
And women don't like to hear this because the deck is in their favor. It's against men, especially productive men. That's why you got men like Mr. Samuels that won't do it, and others, right?
Right.
So and I think you don't see that yet because you're not where you want to be just yet. I
Well,
think you
not
will be.
necessarily, because I'm trying to follow the order of progression. For instance, I don't have a kid right now because I'm not married, and I'm gonna have a kid once I get married. There's a certain order of progression, which, like you just mentioned, Tevin Wamuels always mentions. And the first thing he always questions the girls that call in after deeming them low value because they have children is, why didn't you get married first? I know you've heard that before, have you not?
Yes, I have, but look, I
No,
like
no, no,
Kevin
no, no, no,
Samuels'
no,
count.
no, no. But look, this is, if we're gonna use your logic of reasoning, the very man that you just mentioned 30 seconds ago
Right.
contradicts your logic of reasoning. Accept it. You didn't follow the traditional norm or standard of process.
Neither did he. So how could
That's
neither did
exactly my
he.
point. That's exactly my
Okay, but
point.
look,
I'm glad you said it.
okay, he didn't follow it either. I like some of his points. I'm not. How could you all right? I get your point. But he
Yeah,
didn't
man.
follow
It's
it
hard. It's
either.
hard to argue. You know, it's hard to argue
No,
stuff.
but he didn't follow it either. So you're getting on me for not following what he says, and he didn't even follow it.
Well, I'm
So
getting on you for mentioning and giving him credit to something that you just said just now, but now acknowledging the fact that he doesn't even follow the products or the ways or he doesn't practice what he preaches, which I've said all along. And then I think the more disturbing and the more intimate question we need to ask is, why are there almost 500,000 primarily black men that follow him? Why is he one of the biggest content creators on YouTube in the sphere that we mentioned? I think that's the question that we need
you
to
think all
really
of his
ask ourselves.
followers are just men? You think so?
Primarily black men, yes, absolutely.
I don't even think it's primarily.
Well,
I
I
think
don't
it's.
think it's.
I think a good portion of it are hopeless women, hoping that he'll give them the magic antidote when there isn't one. To be
Yeah,
quite
well,
honest
guess
with
what?
you.
There's a members chat that he has now. I encourage you to look at it. The reason he has a members chat is because there's some pretty well-spoken people that used to come in and ask serious questions. And I think he got tired of seeing those questions, so he made it members only. And so the only people that ask questions now are fanatics of him. So next time he's live, go and roughly count per, I don't know, 10 men's names that you see, how many women's names that you see, and I think that will quelch any questions or questionability that you have in regards to the demographic between men and women, or the gender between his fanatical database.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead, Lauren.
Because I've heard a lot of men that kind of speak like, they kind of think like senpais. And as a woman, I don't understand the fear of getting married, but the willingness to start families and start having children. I've always felt like that's a much more serious endeavor than just marriage. And I get that you have things to lose, but I feel like if you're that scared of marriage, the right thing to do is just to stay single. If you don't want, I don't think you should be starting families if you don't want to have a proper family, and if you don't want to, you know, put your family in that stable, secure type of situation. Like, I feel like children should be raised in two-parent homes in stable environments. And it's almost like, I don't want to say, you know, I'm sure you're a great father and a great boyfriend and everything like that, but it's like, you know, your kid deserves that. You know what I mean? Like, I would just love to see more Black families like just see the value in getting married, especially when they have children.
So let me ask you this, Miss Loren. So let's just pretend like we never get married. Does that make my household unstable?
It makes it less stable.
Well, how?
Oh, really quickly, hold on. I'll let Loren answer that. Let me let Black Women Sisterhood. She just private chatted. Go ahead, Black Women Sisterhood. I'll let Loren answer, and I'll answer after. Sorry about the wait.
You're fine. Hello everyone. Actually, I was going to wait until Loren. Is that okay, or should I just
Oh
go ahead and
yeah,
ask them? Because I had two questions for whatever his
yeah.
name is.
Go ahead, Loren, and you go right after Sisterhood.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what points specifically you're looking for or you want to hear. What I know is that security and stability is where children thrive best. Okay, and I also think even your girlfriend, to know that she has something stable and something secure that you can't just run away from, is where it's what makes family stronger. So I don't think that it's I don't think it's fair to like to I just don't think it's fair to like deny that when you know that that's probably what your girlfriend wants, because you don't see the value in it, or because you don't think it's important or necessary. When you know that that's most women are traditional and want to be married, especially if they're having children. I personally would not. I that's why I don't have any kids, because I don't want to bring children into the world without being married first. I feel like I prioritize marriage because that's more important, because I want that stability. Otherwise, it's just a baby mama situation. That's what it is.
And to kind of expand on that a little bit, the bigger thing is this: make no mistake about it, Stampiders, you're absolutely right. Marriage is a dedicated ritual. It takes dedication, it takes commitment. You know, it's not something you can just up and run away from. And the problem with most modern aged adults in relationships is that they've been so accustomed to microwave type situations. You just heat it up really quickly, and if you don't want it at the time, then you could just leave it in the freezer, right? Or you could just, I don't know, if you feel like just going out to eat after you cook a microwavable dinner, you can just keep it there because it's cheap. It doesn't mean anything, right? Uh, the problem with that is that you have a multi-million dollar situation right now, multi-million dollar microwavable dinner, in the fact that you have a kid. I'm not comparing your kid to a microwavable by any means, but hear me out. You can up and just leave it really quickly because, yes, you're not necessarily as committed to it as you, per se, reserving seats at a restaurant, you having to wear a suit and tie, and you need to pay ahead of time at the top steakhouse in the city. All right. But the cost of that microwavable still in and out of itself is going to cause you a severe amount of loss, irregardless of essentially the quality of the microwavable dinner, because you paid so much for it. So I know it doesn't make a lot of sense. So let me say this. When you have a child, when you're held legally accountable for staying in a relationship with somebody, and there are ramifications for leaving said relationship, it's natural to assume that one would be a lot more hesitant to leave. Now, the benefit out of this is that your kid, maybe it's not the best dynamic environment for mommy and daddy, but a lot of the time people have stayed together, have had amicable relationships, simply because the kid was involved and because they were married. And because both parties agreed that, you know what, it's better for us to stay married right now. And maybe when the kid grows up, maybe when our situations change a little bit, we can divorce. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do all the time. And I get that that shouldn't be the sole reason that you stay together. But for the child, unfortunately, for the position that you are in, and fortunately, your life is not your own now. Your life is now your child's. All right. This is something that a lot of adults fail to see and understand. Once you have a child, your personal desires, my man, are like they're gone. That's just the nature of being a parent. Uh, Everything that kid needs and wants to survive and to thrive inside of this community, you as a couple are going to have to provide to him. Now, it helps when both of you are held accountable to a certain extent, particularly a certain extent of the law. When there is benefit to you staying together versus a negative aspect of you breaking up. And that's what marriage is. It's a commitment, bro. It's a commitment to work things out when you feel like just walking up and leaving, right? When you feel like just saying F you, F this, F everything. Just like the man on that night talk that we had, when you feel happy to not have responsibility. Hey man, I hear you. I'm not necessarily saying you're wrong for even feeling like that, but guess what? Because of the choices that you made for the benefit of that child and the mother that he'll most likely be living with after you break up, it's going to be to his benefit to see his mother and father married. It's going to be to your benefit to have your woman, who's probably looking at you a little confusingly right now, to have a ring on her finger, right? At some point or another, every woman wants to get married, bro. Like, every woman dreams about getting married, dude. Whether it's right or wrong, or capitalistic America making values of diamonds or rocks that we just dig up out of the earth, I don't know about all that, man. I don't even care about all that, to be honest with you. All girls want to get married. They all want the fairy tale wedding. That's just the nature of the game, bro. And your girl's no different. She's already given you the ultimate reward in bearing your DNA and bearing the future of your lineage in your child, man. I mean, in my opinion, that's just a little selfish, bro. It's just a little selfish. I get that you have a lot to lose. Cool, man. I get that. But if she was good enough to make a child with, bro, she's good enough to bear your seed. That protection that she has in case you break up, to have half of your things. Hey, look, that's my son. She has half of my business. My son's with her. I know my son's taken care of. I don't know what would happen if y'all broke up right now. Maybe you feel some type of way. You don't want to give her any money. I don't know. That happens a lot. Let's be honest. People break up. The kid isn't as taken care of because the dad's making the money. So it's not fair. But if it was my child, I don't know. I would think differently, bro. It's my kid, man. I don't know, man. It's just a little. I don't know, bro. That's just a little off, in my opinion, man. I mean, look, bro, at the end of the day, everything that you work for in life really doesn't matter, dude. When you die, you're not going to take your insurance business with you. You're not going to take anything with you. When you die, your kid's heritage, your kid's legacy is going to live on, bro. Everything you work for right now doesn't mean a single thing, in all honesty. I made a video on this a long time ago called Nothing in Life Really Matters. When I had nothing in my car, I had to come to the realization that, you know what? Even if I was rich right now, I can't take the riches with me. Now, yes, I would like to work on myself and better myself and help myself and be the best person that I can be, but I'm not going to place all of my value in possessions. Yes, I want to have a BMW M Series. If I never get it, I'm going to try as hard as I can to do it. But I recognize that when I die, my BMW M Series is going to be placed beside me. Don't place so much value in the money, bro. Don't place so much value that you end up losing your family, bro, because of money. Money comes and goes, dude. It's good to have. It's great to have. You need it to survive. But kids are worth more than that. Your family is worth more than that, man. Your family's worth more than that. With the mentality that you have now, it's going to lend itself over to errors and issues, right? I'm not going to speak on your previous engagement and things like that because I don't know about those dynamics. But I can tell you right now, if you keep thinking the way you're thinking, you're going to run into problems. Marriage certificate or no marriage certificate. And problems are problems. And you don't want problems with your child, bro. You sound like a sensible guy. Don't create that problem for yourself, man. Really quickly, I want to let Black Woman Sisterhood go. Stampitis, you can rebuttal that in a second, or rebut that in a second. Go ahead, Black Woman Sisterhood.
Okay, thank you. So my questions were for Stempitis, if you don't mind. I had 3 questions, if that was okay to ask him.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Stempitis, the first question I have is, since you're the representative tonight for the Black Manosphere, why is it that you guys only contribute the negative examples of what Black women do to the whole demographic of Black women, like the whole collective? Because you mentioned his story when he went to the grocery store. Now, I did think that the lady was being rude, but I was super happy that another Black woman came in right after, like her, and she was positive. And like, we've seen the identical thing happen with the restaurant owner, with the girls was twerking. It was like 70% of the women in there were all doing what they were supposed to be doing. They were all represented themselves as, as upstanding women. So my thing is, why is it only the negative things you guys point out when it comes to Black women? And why do you use a small collective to represent the whole bigger collective?
I guess with that in particular, the reason why I highlighted that is because it stood out to me that in one sense he was frustrated, but then in the other sense he's saying, well, she doesn't owe me anything. So the reason why I looked as if I was focusing on that is because it seemed like in my opinion, in his mind, he was kind of conflicted where he got upset, but then he was like, well, my message is they don't owe us anything. So that's the reason why I kind of focused in on that.
Okay, but he was absolutely right. The lady really doesn't owe him anything. And that's pretty much what we say all the time, is that we really don't owe men anything. Now I get it would be nice for someone to be cordial to you, but you also have to understand that that person could be dealing with their own situations in life. And I see Black men complain about this all the time, but it's like Black men aren't the nicest people either.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I know that that's very true. Trust me, I had far more Black women help me than Black men.
Absolutely. And then the last two things I guess I would say to Stampitis is, do you realize that you're contributing to that negative statistic of Black women that aren't married? You guys like to point that out all the time, how bad single mothers are, but you guys have no problem making them. And so my question is, I know you explained that you have stuff to lose. I get that. But the majority of Black men that got baby mamas are broke. And so what's going on with that?
I guess in my opinion, I can see how y'all say that I contribute to it, but she's technically a baby mom, but she's not single. So how can you say I'm really contributing to it?
Because statistically, they would count her as a single mother.
If I'm in the household with her and we're both taking care of our child, how is she single?
Because if you're not married, you're single.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
and to be honest, the thing is this. I mean, I don't know how common law marriage works in your state, Stampitis, but I mean, in Texas, if you live in the same house for like 2 years, then the state sees you as common law marriage. And if she leaves, she can leave with half, bro. So maybe look that up. I'm not saying kick her out, but you need to look up common law marriage in the state that you're in.
The state that I'm in, is 20 years. Just to throw that out there.
20 years? Okay, cool. Well, then you're safe, bro. You're good to go.
Okay, but can we also say then that those single mothers are probably common law married then? Like, how do we just automatically assume they don't have someone in that household with them?
Well, and this is the bigger point. I mean, honestly, Black Woman Sisterhood, Lorenz Stampitis, I mean, she's with you right now. But I mean, no, I hate just speaking. I don't know your previous relationship, bro. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm a perfect person, because I'm not. I'm just trying to follow the natural progression of an order of things that led to my parents being married for 31 years and having me in a loving household and having me as a rational, well-thinking Black man, right?
I'm
just trying to emulate what my parents did. And so the bigger thing is she's with you right now. But I mean, if she leaves you, then what? I mean, and here's the thing, look, it's a lose-lose for you, bro, because if you leave her, she's gonna be a single baby mom. If you stay with her forever, then you might as well marry her.
Well, I mean, you're speaking from a point as if I don't want to marry her. Like I said, we got some things that we got to work out. We set a tentative date probably 2 years from now. It's not that I don't want to marry her. I'm just opening your eyes. Like you guys say, well, why do Black men or quote unquote high value Black men think that way?
If I was unsure about marriage, bro, I wouldn't have a kid with her, bro. I would marry a woman before I have a kid with her. As far as like severity of the two situations, having a kid is like way up here, bro. You can always get out of a marriage, bro. You can't get rid of a kid, dude.
I don't want to get rid of my kid. I want us to stay together. And more and more people are having kids outside of marriage. Why are y'all making it seem like I'm such an anomaly?
Because are you in support then of it? Like, are you in support of single mother? Oh, sorry.
The talking point. No, you're fine, Black woman. I'll let you go. The talking point of the community that you're supporting right now is that Black single mothers are spawn of Satan himself. That's what Tevin Wamuels always says. You hear this, right?
Yes.
So you can't credit him or fight for or die on the hill of Black Manosphere men, and then be like, well, why is it such a problem? Because that's what you believe in, essentially. You're
I don't
either on
believe in everything Kevin Samuel said. Like I admit, he doesn't even follow everything he says. I agree
okay,
with
but
certain points. I agree with certain
unfortunately,
points.
the talking points that you're representing now, all right, you can't have your cake and eat it too, bro. This is the problem with a lot of black men and men such as yourself. You think that you're different somehow. You're not different, bro. You're not different. You're just not. I hate to break it to you. You are different financially. I give you that. You are. But right now, judging by your past relationship history, judging by where you're going and the way that you're talking right now, you're to be honest, bro, you're probably not going to get married with her, man. I mean, so I'm just being honest, bro. I mean, if you do, listen, I hope you do. But I don't see y'all getting married or lasting successfully in a marriage. I hope you do. But I just don't hear that in your voice. I hear too much unsurety. Really quickly before you Stampitis, Black Woman Sisterhood, go ahead, and then Stampitis, the floor is yours.
Sure. Okay. So the last question I was going to ask, I've mentioned this before to O'Shea, but I will ask you, Stampitis, as well. You, by your own admission, which is the same thing O'Shea said, is that men, they don't see a benefit in getting married. How can we get married as a group of women if the men in our community all have a perception that marriage isn't the goal or that marriage isn't beneficial? We can't marry ourselves.
I think the best way to answer that question is it's not entirely y'all's fault. So the way that the laws are set up, it's set up in your favor, and it's up to you as to whether or not you want to take advantage of it. So, but I would say like be about your man and actually be for him. I mean, you hear women in general say that, but they say one thing and they do another. They're most are not really about their man. Let's just keep it straight. And then as far as the host, I think I'm very different. Matter of fact, you've said that multiple times. People on this panel have said I'm very different, so I know I'm different. But back to you, Miss Sisterhood. I would say the best way is to like really be about your man, and that's the best answer I have.
Okay, but how can you give like that's definition of that? Like, explain. Can you like go in detail about that?
Like for example, like I guess I'll use us. Like my girl now, she'll research like when I'm having problems with some of my tenants, she'll give me advice, or if I'm feeling bad, or if this tenant's doing this or that or whatever. She's like about me, if that makes sense, right? So that's
Okay,
kind of what I
okay.
mean. Like, support your man, or are you in a relationship, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes.
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Okay. My
But I also don't have children either, and I'm still young.
okay. I would say like be about your man. Like it sounds so vague, but that's just really it. Like be
So,
about your man.
Stampitis,
Like
is your woman about her man,
yes,
but she's not married?
she's not. I literally just said that we're
Oh god.
planning that.
Black
So
women, you're
like,
damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I mean, just go
It,
I
marry a white
literally
or
just said
Asian
we're
man at
planning
this
that,
point.
but you're throwing that against me. All
But
right.
Stampitis, bro, I mean, I can't let you say be about your man if you want to get married when your woman is about her man and she's not married, bro. You just can't say that, bro. It just doesn't work that way. You're not different in this case. Really quickly, South African mommy, welcome to the stream. What did you have to add to this conversation?
Um, Hello, how are you guys?
Hey, South
Honest
African mommy,
truth,
good.
I actually know from your channel from Eddie. You were on Eddie's panel the last time. And yeah, I really support your message and I stand by you 1000%. We need more men like you who are actually holding everybody accountable, not just pointing the finger. You come with more solutions instead of just showing the problem. I actually have a question for Stampitis. You mentioned that 2 years from today, right? Or from right now, you and your baby mama that you're living with, because a boyfriend is not under the a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship is not part of the law. Like there's nothing you guys can do if you guys separate. You guys can't go to court and say, "Oh, I bought the couch, I bought the television." You guys can't do that. But I wanted to know what is the difference of you marrying her now compared to 2 years after the fact. You already have a baby. That's the biggest commitment you already made by making a child. And another thing you also mentioned is that she helps you a lot with your business. If she already helps you out and she's for you, you might as well put a ring on it, because whenever you said it yourself, whenever you have problems with your tenants, you always ask your girl, and your girl always helps you out. So I mean, you could potentially give her 10% of your business or something of your business, because she's already for you and helps you out with your company.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Stampitis, did you want to address that?
Yes. The reason for the wait is more like I'm trying to acquire a multi-million-dollar complex. So the reason for the wait is more financial, I would say. I want her to have a decent wedding. If we were to go get married now,
I
it
have a
wouldn't be as
question.
great. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't matter to her, even if you just went to court and signed some papers and called it a day, and you can have a big wedding later on. And on top of it, since you are looking to acquire the multi-million-dollar estate that you want to acquire, don't you think two heads would be better than one? Both of your people's credit scores put together, both of you ask for money from the bank together. Don't you think you guys will be able to acquire it faster than you solely doing it on your own?
No. And I guess I'll start this question off by asking, it's personal questions, but one, are you married? And two, have you ever bought property?
No.
So
To both.
I guess you're speaking from a position of ignorance, because if you
Not
knew how I really,
necessarily, but okay.
well, I'm asking, well, are you married and have you ever bought property, or do you have an experience in that? Because
Stampitis, married couples do benefit on a lot of different business aspects and loans and things of that nature by being able to use both people's credit scores, for instance, as revolving credit. Like,
thank you.
You do benefit
no,
business
they
wise,
don't.
bro.
Especially if you got,
yes,
unless you
do.
guys have the same credit. No, they don't. And again, have you ever taken out a business loan? Have you ever bought property? Have you ever done any of that?
No.
Because I have.
Okay.
I'm assuming the answer is no.
Nope, I have not bought any business. I have not
Well, how
taken
can
out
you
a business
speak on a
loan.
position you know nothing about?
Well, the same way that you're trying to tell women how to get married when your girl's not married and you have a baby with her. So maybe we don't. Maybe we both don't know what we're talking about. How about we just agree to that?
Well, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about on that, but I know what I'm talking about when it comes to loans and businesses. I've done it before. So
Yeah,
how do you explain that?
I'm telling you that you're on the trajectory to create another baby mama. So facts are facts, bruh. And
I
the
only have
reality,
one baby mama. You said another. I only have one. So
I say another baby mama as in adding another baby mama to the amount of baby mamas that black men such as yourself complain about. And the fact of the reality is you do get business opportunities. I'll talk about this maybe next stream to address you directly, but there are business opportunities that you have to being married as far as traditional acceptance in, we'll just say, the white man's world, and tax benefits and purposes and things of that nature. For instance, I'll just tell you this: if you're married, you get more money back on your taxes. That's just a fact. If you have kids and you're married and you claim kids together, you get more money on your taxes. Those are just a couple. There's more, but I don't have all those at my hand right now. So, but I will address that next stream for you. And if you want
taxes and business are kind of two different things.
Yeah,
and
possibly.
Under the SBA loans, what loan gives you more money if you're married? I'd like to know, because I know all of them. So let me know.
I don't know, but I do know that an SBA loan is not the only type of business loan that you can get.
All right, well, name a loan that gives you more money.
I told you I will
Name
go ahead and address you. I will address it all next stream for you. All right. So if you want to come back, you're more than welcome to come back, Stampitis, and we'll continue this conversation. I don't know all of them right now, but I do know that there's more benefits on the business side of being married than I think even you understand at this point. So not trying to discredit you, just want to teach you a little bit. That's all.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Lauren.
Yes, because it's like, you might have us that we don't have all the business, we don't have the experience in the area of business that you are in. But I don't really know what that has to do with being married and committing to your family. Like, there's plenty of men who are into stuff that I've never done or tried before, and their families are secure and they're in stable homes. But the thing that I really want to say is that I notice men always do this. They think women need $1 million something, or they need all of these millions of dollars of pound or mound of money in order to want to get married. At this point, your girl would probably be okay with going right to the justice of the peace and just getting it done. I don't think she would care if you had $1 million property or not, because she's already with you, and you already say that she's about you. And I don't understand men that will invest, and they're not scared to make a commitment in any other area. You wouldn't have gotten where you were today if you were scared to commit to the process that it took to get the things that you have acquired. And they'll penny pinch, and they'll suddenly be so scared to invest and make a commitment when it comes to family, but they don't see they're much more willing to just invest and spend money and take all this time with everything else, with jobs and loans. And you want to discuss loans, like, we're not really here to discuss the different kinds of loans. That's not really the point of the conversation. That has nothing to do with you being a married man and not creating another potential baby mother. So, like, why not make the investment in your family, since you can make it with this business? Why not?
Right.
Why not go ahead and commit and make the investment?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a disingenuous argument, to be honest. Like, well, I'm waiting until I can make $1 million first before we get married. I mean, come on, bro. Like, if she's
Or
helping you out, I
maybe
don't. Go ahead.
or maybe I feel like if Stampitis is moving the way he's moving now, he's probably gonna leave her as soon as he get that a cool complex that's gonna bring him in millions of dollars. He's gonna leave her. That's what, isn't it what they say in the Kanye song? Once he gets on, he's gonna leave you for a white girl. I'm just
Yeah,
saying that's
that's
possible. A
Yes.
lot of times that's what happens when
and I
black
mean,
guys
Stamp.
get money. They dip. They leave the girl that they came with. They leave completely. So
And I mean,
maybe Stampitis is planning his way out.
yeah,
Well,
and I mean,
wouldn't I? Okay, I have no
yeah,
attachments to
but
her, so wouldn't I
Stampitis, here's
leave
the
now?
thing: what's gonna make you marry her when you have $1 million? By using your same logic, would you not be that much more apprehensive if you do finally build to this mythical $1 million, valuation or real estate asset amount? I mean, you're gonna be like, oh, I made $1 million. We can get married now. You're already scared to get married, and you don't have $1 million in value or assets. So you're gonna get $1 million, and then all of a sudden, it's all good now. Wouldn't that be a little bit contradictory to what you're saying? You get
Well,
what
if
I'm
what you
saying?
were saying was actually true, I said I was planning it out. So a lot of
So
people do that.
so you're planning it out. We'll assume that you continue to make more money and just grow because you have a lot of stuff going on, right? You're working out a lot. Maybe I don't know if his connection dropped or whatnot. His connection probably dropped. I think it dropped last time. But I mean that just it doesn't make much sense. So you make more money in the future, but now everything's good because you made more money, meaning you have more money to lose, and you're scared of the money that you have right now. I mean, if you're scared of the money you have right now, maybe if you lose money, then I can understand you wanting to marry her. But if you make more money and you're apprehensive right now with the money that you have, wouldn't you be more apprehensive because you made more money? Or am I thinking about this wrong?
No, that's actually a good point. I guess I could see it from that point, but again, we were planning it, so
Right.
I don't see how like that would really fit. And then as far as the Miss Miami's point, you're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna wait to get the money then leave." First of all, she's helping me with the plan, so what's stopping me from leaving now? That makes no sense.
Why
Like,
don't you marry her since she's part of the plan? What are you waiting for? That sounds ridiculous, Tempitus. Just listen to you. You say, "Oh, she's helping me." Then marry the girl. If she's part of the plan, she should be part of what you're building in the future. That makes no sense.
so didn't I just say that part of the plan is marrying her? So how is she not a part of the plan?
You just said, "Oh, she's helping you with the plan." So get married to the girl because she's already assisting with getting this multi-million-dollar complex. So why can't she be on the paperwork as well? And why can't she own half of it, especially if it's her hard work also going into it? That's not
Mm.
fair. How the girl is gonna help you along the way and help you get where you want to get in your life, and then you wanna tell her she has to wait for a ring? No, Stampitis, that's not fair. And on top of it, she risked her life to give you a baby, a whole baby, a child,
That is
your
facts. She
heir,
really did risk her
your
life.
heir, your legacy. What is so difficult for you to give her your last name? What is stopping you? What is stopping you? Just like the
Mm.
other lady
Mm, mm,
said
mm.
with a gorgeous afro over there, she told you you can go to Justice of the Peace. A lot of women don't care about big weddings, but they want your last name. It's important because when the school calls, when the school calls her and tells her, oh, ma'am, your son is not feeling too well, and she shows up and her ID has a different last name as your son's, how embarrassing do you think it is? All those women are
Lord have
talking in
mercy.
the office. All of them are talking. I'm just
Lord have
telling you
mercy.
what women think of when they don't see the last name. And your last name carries your legacy. What are you talking about? Oh, it's part of the plan. Make the plans happen right now. Because clearly plans have changed. She gave you a baby already. Come on now. That was your first, the biggest commitment was the baby. What does marriage have to do with anything? Marry the girl. Done.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Stampitis, look, man.
Hey,
I'm gonna be honest, Stampitis.
it was passionate,
She
and
is
I
on.
appreciate it.
She's on it, man. Like, listen, I was like, oh Jesus, I didn't think of any of that, and I couldn't have said all of that, man. I mean, I mean, bro, I think that's a great point, man. I mean, if you love the girl, bro, you know.
I gotta give her points. Miss Miami, may I ask you this? Are you married?
No, but I come out of a household like, my parents are married 40 plus years, grandparents, both sides, over 55 years. My three siblings now, my older sister is been married 23 years, my brother 20 years, my other brother 17. I'm the youngest one. I have to get married.
I mean, Stampitis, what she's talking about though is still from a woman's perspective. She's a woman at the end of the day, just like your girlfriend is, right? And I mean, I think that's a great point, man. Like, I mean, I'd feel bad if she walked into the office and described a situation where she's picking up her son from school and presented the ID with a different last name. I think that's a great point, man. That's it's natural,
she is making a great point. And I can't really dispute most of what she's saying. Although I will say this: if you approach a man with that type of attitude, you're not going to be married. Just pointing that out.
I mean, I guess, man. But I mean, let's just accept that you're right. Listen, a woman like Miami, a woman who's got that kind of wisdom, bro. You know what that can add to your life by having a woman with wisdom like that. I mean, this is wisdom. We're not talking about intelligence here or intellect or smart. We're talking about wisdom. This is a different level of intellectual fortitude. You have smarts, book smarts, personality smarts, and then you have general wisdom in life.
Can I say something about that attitude though, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Most women know not to pressure a man like that when you're dating him. She has that attitude because you're already so far along and you already have the child. And your situation, you're not just getting to know the girl, you're not at the beginning of this relationship. So she has an attitude with that because where you are, you really should be married by now. That's why she's talking to you like that, because you didn't just meet, you're not still trying to feel her out. You're already in the situation. You're already here. And so I don't think you need $1 million loan to marry the girl. I don't.
I mean, yeah, you're living together. You got a kid together. She's helping you with business. You're having sex with her. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I know your kid's there. Forgive me, man. Jesus. I mean, you're intimate with her. You're doing everything that marriage. I mean, you're playing house essentially right now, bro. You're doing everything that married people do. I mean, it's not like you're gonna get married and then all of a sudden she'll be like, oh, you know what? I'm out. I mean, if you're still with her and she's still a decent judge of character, that would more reflect on your choice of woman. If she just randomly bounced and headed out. But if you're already talking about the marriage thing, bro, don't stop tricking her. Stop tricking yourself. You owe it to that woman, bro. Like Miami said, put her life on the line for you, man, to have your kid. And she's helping you with your business, bro. Do you understand what you have right now?
You could have
I have a question. I have a question. Stampitis, if God forbid this happens though, you wake up tomorrow and you have your coffee and you just fall in the kitchen and you suffer from a mild heart attack and you have to be rushed to the hospital, right? You get rushed to the hospital, you fall into a coma for 3 months. Who do you think is gonna take over all your companies? Mind you, your girlfriend with the baby, she already knows all how everything works, and she knows how you like to run things. And now you are in a coma, you can't do anything, you don't have a business partner, because I mean, according to the law and the documentation, she has no legal right over anything in regards to you. So now your mom, your sister, your cousin, your entire family comes, and they like, okay, we're gonna run this company, don't worry about it, we got it. Then they run the business into the ground, all your hard work gone. You wake up 3 months later out of a coma, you come back like a spring chicken, back and healthy, and then your company is gone. Are you gonna blame your girlfriend? Or who you gonna blame? Because your whole family ran it into the ground compared to the one that you trust with your life. You sleep with her every night in the same bed. You live in the same house with her. She gives you food. She gives you counseling when you need it in regards to business. The person that knows you very well and knows how to run your company. Then she couldn't make any decisions because she was not next of kin and the baby is too young to make those kind of decisions. Who are you going to blame then?
To answer your question, I would blame me.
Getting a heart attack, that's like unforeseen circumstances, and you mind you don't have a spouse, so there's gonna be your family's gonna come and take over because that's the only people that can take over.
You know, she's referring to something, and I'm sure you know of this since you're in insurance, right, Stampitis? Do you know what she's actually referring to when a spouse dies of an insurance like agent?
Yeah, I know exactly what she's saying. And if you look at the laws, actually, it would go to your spouse, and if you don't have one, it would actually go to your next of kin, which would be, in this case, our son. Now, to answer her question, it would be more beneficial to be married because then she can take over. Because you're right, she knows the ins and outs and how I run it. She knows exactly how to do it. That's an excellent point, Miss Miami. I can't really argue that.
For real, then senpai just do right by her. She's a good woman. Like she did. I've never ever heard you complain, and I've been watching this guy. I've been watching Honest Truth for a minute, and I've noticed that you have been coming on here and you've never ever complained about your lady. So I feel like there's nothing to wait for. Bruh, do something nice, propose, get married, and just give it to her. That's it. You're already playing house, just like Lorenz said. She's doing everything a married woman is supposed to do, but at girlfriend prices, ridiculous.
I don't complain about her because she's the best woman I've ever had.
And
And
bro,
that's
it
just
makes
because.
no sense for you to say that she's the best woman you've ever had and she's still not married, bro. I mean, honestly, bro, shame on you. You're exactly part of the men that we're talking about right now. You are the problem, Stampitis. Like you're the problem, bro. 1000%. Everything you say at this point is null and void. You're exactly the problem. There's no reason.
You need to marry her, don't you? She deserves
Say again.
it,
I'm
right?
sorry, I missed it. Say, Miss Lorraine.
I said, you know, you need to marry her, right? She deserves it, right?
Yes, she's down my throat all the time about it. It's not that we're not gonna do it. But I get you guys what you guys are saying. I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Go ahead and make that happen, Stampitis. I can tell you this much: you'll have more problems in your life if you don't make it happen. If you have the best woman you've ever met, you'll have more problems in your life when she's gone, bro. Believe that. Just believe me on that one, man. All right. So, any other questions for Stampitis before we start to wrap this up? Black Woman Sisterhood, I know you haven't talked that much. Black Woman Sisterhood, you are muted. I'm not sure if you're still here. Black Woman Sisterhood probably went to go do something. Either way, if you would like to join the panel really quickly, I'll accept a couple more people up here, but we're going to start to wrap this up. Stampitis, I always enjoy you coming on to the panel, man. I know I go really hard on you, like I go hard on D, but it is because men like yourself need to be rigorously vetted. Just as I have to accept that I'm not doing everything I'm supposed to do, and I acknowledge that, the good ones in our community also have to be held accountable because there's not many of you, man. There's not many of you. I know you've been reading the comments as I posted them, and I personally have to agree with most of them, man. I gotta agree with most of them, brother. There's no way I'm gonna let the best woman in my life that I've ever met go another day, to be completely honest with you, without a diamond rock, without um, a figurative or a metaphorical illusion of lifelong commitment, without the feeling of elated happiness, knowing that a man trusts her with his life, soul, wealth, and everything else that is of monetary gain, possession in this world. You will make a greater business partner. You will make a greater relationship for yourself if you marry her, bro. It'll be beneficial to you, her, the kid, and your future generations. And guess what, man? If she leaves you, then you're still a man. You can still build yourself up, and life will go on, my friend. I know it might not seem like it, but believe it or not, Stampitis, life will go on, bruh. You can do it, man. You're gonna be all right.
Well, I definitely appreciate you having me on. Now you guys got her sticking out her finger. We're wondering where it's at, which is
Yeah,
fair.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, I love the show. I mean, I love.
Thank you,
I
Stamp.
think the only thing I think is I think you should hold men more accountable because at the end of the day, I do agree with you. It's on us, but I think you need to broaden your perspective, like you know, and not kind of be so one sided. That's my only critique on it. But Miss Miami, you brought up great points. Miss Loren, you brought up excellent points. And you know, when you guys are right, I try and say you're right. If I think you're wrong, I think you're wrong. And it's just the way it is. But thank you for having me on your show once again. I'll go ahead and let someone else on. I'll be in the comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stamp. Talk to you soon, buddy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Stampitis. Stampitis. This is the second conversation we've had, and it's always interesting with him. I do like his patience, his understanding, and this is the nature of the game. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? It wasn't built in a day. uh, but make no mistake about it, it burned down within a day. And if you don't move in life with the appropriate measures, if you don't handle things the way that you're supposed to handle things, you could have a mini colossus or Rome on your hands, something that you built so well, something that you relied on the hard work of others to help you get or obtain. And in an instant, it can change for you, right? Now, that's life in general. We get that. But the goal is to surround yourself with people who understand and who feel and who truly have your back. And once you have those people, it becomes priceless. It's an invaluable commodity. Or maybe it's a above valuable commodity. I'm not sure. Invaluable is always one of those words where I'm like, does that make sense? It's an invaluable, it's a priceless commodity to have somebody that truly has your back, a lifelong partner. You only meet a couple in a lifetime, y'all. Blue Waters, y'all are serious. Y'all are ragging him. He's a terrible human being. He's an it. Listen, he's not as bad as a lot of these guys that are out here. Currently, he is providing. Maybe he's playing house. And yeah, I definitely don't like the way that I see things going. But if things can change, if he puts the ring on the finger, hey, look, you know, I can't just. I hear what y'all are saying, and trust me, I really do. I hear it, But for the men that are willing to at least listen to a certain extent, it can't just be all complete baptism by fire, hell, and brimstone raining from above, right? So I hear it. I hear it. I definitely do. I definitely hear. And there's some men that I let the brimstone rain down from above. For those truly lost souls, I let them have it. Just give it a little bit of time. And hey, if things don't change, if I don't see any progression, then maybe we can rain some brimstone and fire from above. But in the meantime, we all have growth to do. I have growth to do. I can't be judge, jury, and executioner because I don't have everything perfect in my life. But I just know what's right is right, And I sense that he's slowly but surely. I'm sensing that she slowly but surely is starting to understand and get an idea. The fact that he's even on talking, right? My grandmother always said you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Speak to people in a certain way, you're more likely to have some sort of change in them. But I hear what y'all are saying. Pseudo African Africana Mami, you are truly a pillar of wisdom. I can't thank you enough for being on the show. I'm gonna start to wrap it up. I've seen you on the live panel on I think I Am Verbal's channel, and I'm always very intrigued and blown away by the things that you say. I love the way that you word things, phrase things, the metaphorical allusions that you know draw up in the situations that you're able to provide actual reference to in modern day connotations. I absolutely love it. So thank you so much for joining the stream. I would love for you to be on the next stream or any other stream following thereafter. It's truly an honor to have you here. Is there any closing statement that you wanted to add, or do you have a YouTube channel or anything that we can follow you on?
So thank you for having me. Honest truth, no, I don't actually have any form of social media besides just YouTube, and I also don't have a YouTube channel to start with. I wanted to actually say before I go, like, honestly, honest truth, I commend you on being the type of man that you are and standing in your own truth and actually being the one of very few black men in America that defends their own, especially defending the good ones, because there's a lot of good ones. I actually saw the other video of yours about the incident in the grocery store. I liked how you never carried that animosity from the one person onto the other person that actually put a smile on your face. And I feel like that should attest to a lot of people. Like, just because one person is bad doesn't make the other one equally as bad. For instance, Stempire said that, oh, he was married before, blah blah blah. Maybe that's why he's getting cold feet because of what happened in his first marriage. But then he says, in the same breath, he says, this is the best girl I've ever met in my life. And it's like, okay, if she's the best, clearly the first one wasn't. The first one was the worst that you've ever came across. So if it's the best one, you're gonna want to lock her down right away and immediately. And another thing I wanted to say, honest truth, I actually like the fact that you cut off Lady A. I'm really tired of people coming from across the pond looking like frogs, coming here and talking about African American problems, and they don't even live in America. I'm from South Africa and I live in America, so I feel like I have every right to say anything that I feel like I can say. But my first responsibility is to become an ally to the black woman in America. Just because I'm from South Africa, I stand with African American women because I see what they go through every day. And for the manosphere to make such a mockery of them is quite disturbing, and it's very disgusting. And these fools fail to realize that the whole world is watching you. Everybody sees you, and you think
Absolutely.
you're funny, you think you're cool. It's not. It's not, because what ends up happening, people like myself, we come to the States and we are like, oh hell no, we will not be dating you. Why? Because your people make it look like this is what you guys are about. And they don't see that. They think people in Africa don't have the internet. We have the internet. The internet is a world traveler. Everybody has the internet nowadays. So yeah, I'm all like, one, hopefully God willing, your channel grows so a lot of people can see that all guys, all African American men are not bad. And these frogs across the pond from the UK, they really need to learn to stay in their place, because they have no room to speak, especially if they've never ever been in America and they've never ever dealt with these quote unquote Pookies and Ray Rays that they keep speaking of. They need to speak about the UK problems over there. That's what they need to work on. They need to talk about their problems over there, because they have their own rubbish that they need to deal with. It's so funny how people can see the splint in other people's eyes. Meanwhile, they have big, huge glasses, big, huge pieces of glasses in their eye. It's ridiculous, honestly. And also, Lady Lorraine, oh my God, you are so nice all the time. I don't know if I just slaughtered your name. I apologize. I apologize. And by the way, girl, your hair is everything. Everything. Everything.
I completely agree, and everything that you've said, Suda Africana, is 1000% on point. I know these manospheric men are going to say, well, you let her speak and she's from another country, so why didn't you let the UK lady speak? Because she's from another country too. And the point is, I did let the UK lady speak until she continually interrupted and interjected me, and moreover, only interrupted me when she had nothing positive to add, but negative ignorance to add. You see, it doesn't matter where somebody's from necessarily, innately, in connotation or context to what the subject matter is at hand. But when they're trying to misconstrue information and use it in a negative light, then that's really when it matters. But if you're trying to add
Exactly.
positivity to a situation, wisdom is wisdom from a homeless person or whether it be the president of the United States. Wisdom is wisdom. Doesn't matter where you are, who you are. And if you're not adding wisdom to the situation because you don't actually know what the situation is, then yeah, you get cut off.
What really gets me, to be honest truth, like what really gets me is when they start using the same stupid talking points that the manosphere uses. And I'm just like, okay, you didn't do your own research. You want to talk about blackdemographics.com and you want to talk about American statistics. Meanwhile, I'm like, what's going on in the UK? Then when we look it up and it's like, this is happening in the UK. Women are getting slashed across the face, getting stabbed. Black people are getting stabbed over there. They're not talking about these problems. But meanwhile, they all in African American women's business, telling them they need to go to the gym. They need to do this. They need to do that. They need to not care about the career. Do they not? They don't understand that living in America, it pays to have a career over here. Like, honestly, it pays. And then on top of it, they want to talk about, oh, how the black man is doing this. And I'm like, are you here to witness these things, or are you just going off what people are telling you? They have no evidence of nothing. They don't have any form of proof. But I swear to God, they'll throw around that word, high value this, high value. They need to take that word out of the dictionary so I can see what new word they'll come up with. Because clearly they are stuck on high value. Meanwhile, a boy is working at McDonald's, which I'm not going to knock, but then they tell these guys that they are high value. Meanwhile, they have three baby mamas, but they are high value. Oh, please, miss me with all of it. Everything, miss me with it all.
South Africana mommy, it's listen, irrefutable comments and commentary by you. Absolutely true. You've said everything that I couldn't say, and I completely agree. We'll try and wake up each ignorant black man in our community, and in this case, ignorant black woman. In the case of the UK lady, which her actual name was UK lady. I'm not just trying to dub her, anything. So don't get on my case, guys. But you're so right. We have men who have nothing to add or contribute to the community, telling women and men who add something to the community that they're wrong for adding to the community right now. Oh, I tell you what, South African mommy, you are always welcome. I'm going to take you down. It's an honor having you here, and hopefully I see you and talk again, okay? That was Suda Africana Mommy. Wisdom, man. You can't evade wisdom. Loren, it's always good to have you on the panels, bringing pertinent, important questions that a lot of us don't think of. You continually add to this. You're continually exuding black excellence, black beauty, feminism, and everything that a man would of value, or a man period, want in his life. And for that, I thank you for setting the exemplary example. It means the world to always have you here. Did you have any closing thoughts on today's discussion? And what did you leave today feeling with?
I hope that he does come around and he sees that value, because you know what? There is not a lot of high, I'm not gonna say high value, because value depends on the person. But I'll say high earning black men that have the potential to build a strong family, financially secure family. And he needs to see the value in that. He invested in his own future by going to school, getting whatever it is that he needed to make the kind of money that he's making now. And you just need to make the same investment in your family. I just think you're shorting yourself, and you're worried about what you're going to have to divide if you split up. But when you marry and when you make that family unit, you'll be multiplying. You'll be multiplying over and over again. It's an addition to your life. But more importantly, with this, because the topic was the no excuses,
Yeah.
I the high value thing is just like I said, it's a played out, overused word, just like how the other lady said this is, pseudo African woman. Like, I mean, it's an overused statement because there's not enough high value, high earning Black men to go around anyway. If there was any decent number of Tevin Wamuel's followers that had six figures to say what they would do and who they would date, I probably wouldn't have as much problem with the conversation, with the average at best lady. But I mean, you're not going to tell me that 99.9% of the men in that comment section aren't minimum wage earners. And that's a problem. It's all these minimum wage Black men with all these high, holy standards of high valueness that makes no sense. Because the numbers show where you are in education, financially, and economically. Black men need to stop worrying about female nature. Stop caring. That should not be your concern at all at this point. Y'all need to get into school. Y'all need to be flocking, like I say almost every time I come on this show, to IT and tech. Y'all need to be flocking to the medical field. There's so many areas you could be flocking to. I will take all the advice in the world from six-figure Black men, okay? If there were more of them. If there were more. There needs to be more. There's not enough. There's no reason for Tevin Wamuels to have all these followers of minimum wage dusties telling a six-figure Black woman what she should be going for. That's backwards. It's upside down. So until Black men can see the necessity, even what Stampitis has done. Look at what Stampitis has built for himself. He can be a little more choosy. He's in the position to be picky about what kind of woman he wants in his life because he has the assets and he's in that position to choose. But if more Black men would put themselves in that position to choose and be higher earners, be more competitive, compete with other men, we would be a little more unstoppable, So I want to see Black men do better. I really, really do. I do not hate Black men. I want to see them do better. I want to see them stop begging, stop being the beggars on the corners, stop being the losers, because it's kind of the situation right now. Go to school, make some money, please. Please, if there's this magical, mythological six figures, please go get it. I'm not stopping you. Nobody is. Go get the six figures if you can.
Absolutely. Well said, Loren. It's always great to have you once again. I can't thank you enough. Hopefully we'll see you soon. You're always welcome on this panel. And hopefully they hear your message, Loren. Hopefully they decide that going out and getting it is going to be the best thing in their interest, whether they have a woman or not.
Yes.
Just go.
Single, married, I don't care. Yeah. Go get it, please.
Fellas, the women are literally telling you what they want. And here you are still sitting arguing with the women themselves. How? I'll never understand. You sit here argue with me. How? I'll never understand. You sit here and argue against the statistics and numbers. How? I'll never understand. And until you choose to understand, you will continually and forever be losing as the leaders in the Black community. I want to thank everybody for watching, joining. If you watch on the replay, if you're watching this on the replay, like Up to Unicorn just got here, it's going to be a little laggy. I forgot that I had a lot of processes running in the back of my computer, so the frame rate's going to be kind of choppy and everything like that. But the audio quality is still there, and it doesn't look horrible. It's just not as good as I liked it. To all the contributors of the channel, I thank you so much for contributing and donating to the cause. We should be upgrading the computer and a couple of other things here in a little bit. All contributions are so very much thanked and appreciated. I can't thank you enough. To all the subscribers, new subscribers, likes, shares, everybody who shares this on your Facebook page. I've seen the analytics. Some people are sharing this. Every share helps. And we can continue to spider web our effort as we have one person tell two people tell five people, five tell 10 tell 100. Just like we got to 1,000 subscribers, that couldn't happen without you or somebody that you know telling you about this stream. So if this does hit you, if you truly feel that this moves you, then I would encourage you and thank you for sharing this stream as we can continue to get the word out, grow faster, grow quicker, and have more men wake up to the delusional state of dreams or nightmares that they are continually sleeping in. Until then, the war, the figurative war, continues. The mental war against a lot of the impoverished thinking, demonized, demonic filled, hateful, ignorant, self righteous black males that are part of the manosphere in our community shall continue. The progress is being made. This has been an Honest Truth production. I can't thank you enough. It's always an honor to have you all here. I will see you again soon. Until then, have a good night.